Chapter 476. Sister Lan. Sister Lan. Lan Sheng had been in the crew since she was a child. She had been in contact with almost all the crew members. Hence, the senior crew members were familiar with Lan Sheng. Previously, there were rumors that Lan Sheng would be the female lead. But in the blink of an eye, the role was given to a newcomer. The crew members were surprised. They were even more surprised to see Sheng here. Hi. Sheng leaned against the door and nodded at them with a smile as a form of greeting. Of course, when Xiao knew this movie queen who was so popular on the screen, her life goal was to stand on the highest stage in the film industry. Sister Lan, you have a movie in D-City too? Someone asked carefully. Sheng raised his eyebrows. Didn't the director tell you? Her room card was given to her by the director. The director came here earlier than the crew. When she and Lan Qing arrived, the director was already there. The room card was given to her by the director. As the investor, Lan Qing naturally received a room card too. The crew members were confused. What did the director tell them? Sheng shrugged and kept quiet. The atmosphere was a little awkward. Sheng leaned against the door frame and did not intend to leave. The person who was about to knock on the door hesitated for a moment, nodded at Sheng and walked towards the room opposite her. He knocked on the door rhythmically. After a while, the door was opened and a tall figure appeared at the door. The top two buttons of his shirt were unbuttoned, revealing his collarbone. His hair was wet and on his slender neck was a handsome face. The girl who knocked on the door did not expect such a handsome guy to open the door. She was stunned. What's the matter? Lan Qing was a warm guy. Even if he did not smile, he was still approachable. That. The girl could not say it. Such a handsome guy. How could she bear to let him change rooms with Wen Xiao? Lan Qing leaned out and saw a group of people in the corridor. His eyes flashed. He saw his sister leaning against the door and looking at them with a face full of anticipation. He reached out to stroke his wet hair. His action was handsome and natural, which immediately attracted the attention of the group of girls behind him. Nothing, I want to rest. His voice was so gentle. No, my ears are getting pregnant. I'm fine. The girl shook her head with an infatuated expression. Lan Qing smiled, took a few steps back, and slowly closed the door. Just as the door was about to close, he poked his head out and said to Sheng, "Sleep early." "No problem, Your Highness," Sheng replied with a smile. Lan Qing shook his head helplessly and closed the door. With a cracking sound, everyone's hearts, which had been rising, were smashed down. The girl who knocked on the door was dumbfounded. She hadn't said anything just now. No, movie queen Lan actually knew this handsome guy. The people living on this floor should be from the production crew. Could this handsome guy be a newcomer invited by the director? Thinking that they would be able to see this handsome guy on set, the group of people began to look forward to it again. So handsome. Others may not know Lan Qing, but Wen Xiao, who was reborn, knew Lan Qing. She was fortunate enough to meet him once. However, she died early and did not know the relationship between Lan Qing and Lan Sheng. You don't know what to do when you see a man. How much do you need men? Meng Shiran's sarcastic voice broke the silence. Meng Shiran had seen Lan Qing before. This man was very clean, without a single seam. He was also considered a genius in the business world. Before graduating from university, he took over the huge business left by his parents. He was not controlled by anyone and held the real power firmly in his hands. This kind of man was more than just dazzling. Unfortunately, he was not her type. But did he know Lan Sheng? Lan Sheng had been in the entertainment industry since young. Many people in the industry now had to call her senior. She was no exception. It wasn't strange that she knew Lan Qing. "Miss Meng, there are no rooms available now, so you should go back to your room." Wen Xiao was irritated by Meng Shiran's words and her attitude was even more unyielding than before. Meng Shiran's heavily made-up face was full of arrogance and domineering. "I want this room. Don't go too far." Wen Xiao's childish face was suddenly stained with coldness. The two of them started a meaningless quarrel again. The people around tried to mediate, but it was useless. In the end, they could only call the assistant director. Wen Xiao was fine, but Meng Shiran could not be offended. The assistant director happened to be in the hotel, and quickly took the elevator downstairs. The assistant director was a lean man with black-rimmed glasses. His appearance was average and his suit was very formal. He looked very cautious. From the elevator, they had to pass by Shisheng's room. Seeing the person leaning against the door, the assistant director's expression changed slightly. "Miss Lan, did I disturb you?" "No, it's just that you're disturbing our crown prince." Shisheng gestured with her chin towards the opposite room. When they came over, the director and assistant director received them together. Naturally, they knew who the prince was. It was really unexpected that the movie queen with no background in the industry was actually the miss of the Lan group. The assistant director looked at the opposite room and bowed slightly to apologize. "Sorry for the trouble, Mr. Lan. I will solve it immediately." With the assistant director's help, the quarrel stopped immediately. If Wen Xiao was just an ordinary newcomer, he could totally ignore her. But Wen Xiao was the female lead chosen by the scriptwriter. Even if she was still a newcomer now, what about after the movie was released? After a while of mediation, the assistant director finally arranged Meng Shiran to the director's floor. This arrangement was actually a bit inappropriate. After all, the movie queen and the CEO of the Lan Group still lived on the staff floor. But the assistant director had no choice. When Meng Shiran made a scene, she was simply a troublemaker. He could not afford to offend her. In the end, the assistant director apologized again to Shisheng and asked her to pass on the apology to Lan Qing. After observing Shisheng's expression, he went upstairs. After Meng Shiran left, the others also dispersed. Wen Qiao stood in front of the door and looked at Shisheng. Shisheng's lips curved into a smile. His smile was not reflected in his eyes at all. He just looked at her calmly, cold and gloomy. Wen Qiao could not help but shiver. Her expression changed slightly. She remembered that her role was supposed to be hers. In her previous life, she used this role to go straight to the international stage. Her path to stardom was unimpeded. She was famous both at home and abroad. Although she felt sorry for her, she needed this role now. She was already so famous. One less role should not be a problem. When Xiao pressed the doorknob, pushed the door open and blocked Shisheng's gaze outside. "If there is a chance in the future, I will make it up to her." Asterisk little fairy. "I want milk-flavored tickets today, cherub. Why don't you go to heaven?" Little fairy. "I came down to earth to see you guys." Cherub. "Let's vote." Chapter 477. The next day, Lan Qing went back to the company. He was a busy man. Before he left, he asked the 4 assistants to take good care of Shisheng. Other than Xiao Bao and Xiao Fu, who were often sent to follow the original owner, the other 2 assistants were also very familiar with Shisheng. All of the original owner's contracts and matters were handled by them. Lan Qing's task was to follow the original owner's movements around the clock. "Sister Lan, this is today's schedule." Xiao Bao was a boy. He was efficient and cute, making people feel comfortable just by looking at him. "I'm not going to the opening ceremony," Shisheng said without raising his head. "Huh." Xiao Bao was confused. "He's not going to such an important event?" Shisheng tapped on his phone, as if he was going to break it. "They dared to replace me with the female lead. Why can't I give them a hard time?" Xiao Bao stretched his neck to look at Shisheng's phone. What kind of game is Sister Lan playing? It's too cruel. Xiao Bao thought for a while. "I'll tell Brother Liang and Sister Mei." Brother Liang and Sister Mei were the 2 assistants that Lan Qing wanted. Shisheng didn't know their names, so he just let them call him that. Well, he still had to tell Sister Qin. It seemed like he and Xiao Fu had the lowest status here. Xiao Bao was very happy to have a friend who would go through thick and thin with him. "Don't tell Sister Qin, or I'll deduct your salary," Shisheng said faintly just as Xiao Bao was about to leave. Xiao Bao was speechless. Even if he didn't tell Sister Qin, she would know after watching the news. Wasn't he just deceiving himself? In the end, he would still be scolded. Obviously, Xiao Bao underestimated Shisheng's means of avoiding scolding. After the news was released, Shisheng ordered all 4 of them to turn off their phones. Chen Yuan's phone couldn't be called at all. If it weren't for Chen Yuan, she would have flown over to teach Shisheng a lesson. The opening ceremony of Proud Sun was so important, but she didn't go. She didn't even pick up her calls. Simply, Shisheng stayed in the hotel and played games for several days. She didn't go to the set until the director came to inform her that she had a part to play. Liang Gu and Mei Jie were professional assistants. They were all dressed in black and wore sunglasses. When they stood behind the Shisheng, their aura. How was she here to be an assistant? She was here to cause trouble. The assistant director who came to pick her up was shocked by this scene. Why did it seem like this person did not come with good intentions? He didn't attend the opening ceremony, nor did he show up for the next few days. It wasn't that the assistant director was imagining things. After all, she was the female lead of this movie. It was reasonable for her to explode when a newcomer suddenly stole her role. Miss Lan, we are now shooting a scene between the female lead and the male lead. It will be your turn later. You should rest and put on makeup first. With his chin held high, Shisheng led a few people into an independent dressing room. The staff of the theater immediately exploded. That was movie queen Lan, right? I think so. Previously, they said that she lived on the same floor as our crew, but she never appeared. I thought they were talking nonsense. I didn't expect it to really be her. Who is she playing? Now there is only one role that we don't know. Are you kidding me? That role is not very good. When Xiao listened to the staff's discussion, her eyes flashed, and then under the director's shout, she walked towards the spotlight. After when Xiao was done, it was Shisheng's turn. Shisheng's character was not very good. Drug-taking, fighting, rebellious. He was the kind of bad example of a little bastard. The gangster's makeup was heavy, and his hair was messy. His leather jacket rivets and tight pants made a clanking sound when he moved. Shisheng was quite curious when he put it on. What a rebellious girl. The male lead was the popular movie king Jiang Baiyu. Oh right. And it was the scumbag that the female lead entrusted herself to in her previous life. Little Sheng, you look. Jiang Baiyu looked at Shisheng from head to toe, and couldn't help but smile. It's different from the way you used to be. Jiang Baiyu and the original owner used to work together, so they were familiar with each other. Shisheng glanced at him. It's none of your business. Jiang Baiyu was famous for being a playboy. As long as it was a beautiful girl, he would flirt with her, and gossip would spread everywhere. It's better to stay away from this kind of man. I don't want to use him as a sacrifice to my sword, and dirty it. Jiang Baiyu choked on Shisheng's words. His facial expression was a bit stiff, and finally, he pretended to be relaxed and shrugged, and turned to talk to the director. After Jiang Baiyu finished, the director called Shisheng over to talk about the role. Miss Lan, I'm deeply sorry for what happened before. But as you know, the scriptwriter of this movie, Ai Weiqi, has full power to decide the role. The director was a little plump and serious. His words were clear, but they were mostly polite. Shisheng looked indifferent, and no one could tell whether he was happy or angry. Director Zhang, I just got in through the back door. You don't have to explain so much to me. Director Zhang. You got in through the back door, but you have the ability. I have to say it. Then I'll talk about the role. Director Zhang began to talk about the role. Shisheng's face was full of impatience. Seeing Shisheng's look of looking at an idiot, Director Zhang couldn't continue. His good impression of Shisheng in his heart dropped. This girl used to be easy to talk to, but when she became a movie queen, her temper became so weird. Let's start. Director Zhang suppressed the anger in his heart, and finally ended the topic and began to shoot. Shisheng's role was to be arrogant and domineering, and to have the feeling that she was the only one in the world. Shisheng played the role as herself. Jiang Baiyu had several NGs because of her. Can you do it or not? In the end, Shisheng's patience was worn out, and he lost his temper. How long has it been? How many more NGs do you want? Jiang Baiyu's face turned ugly. He didn't know Lan Sheng's temper was so bad before. Director Zhang. Wasn't that his line? Did this movie queen eat explosives today? Jiang Baiyu continued to NG several times, and Shisheng wanted to slap him to death. Jiang Baiyu wanted to cry, but no tears came out. It wasn't his first time filming with Lan Sheng, and he didn't think this girl was that good before. But this time he couldn't control the scene at all. Her aura was too strong. Xiaobao, where's my phone? Shisheng shouted outside the studio. A group of people looked at Shisheng in confusion, not knowing what she was going to do. Xiaobao handed the phone to Shisheng under everyone's strange gaze. Shisheng unlocked the phone and looked at the signal. There was only one bar, and he looked up and asked, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" Everyone. What was the movie queen trying to do? Was she going to broadcast the movie King's NGs? Xiaobao immediately gave the password. Shisheng found a place to sit down and looked up at Jiang Baiyu, who was still standing under the spotlight. She seemed to be the arrogant and domineering hooligan in the movie, and her words were sharp and mean. "Jiang Baiyu, I hope you can find your groove after I finish playing the game." WTF. Game. Everyone was honored to hear the background music of a popular mobile game from Shisheng's phone. Everyone. Movie queen, you're wrong. Chapter 478. Everyone was speechless as they watched Shisheng play the game. They thought that she was going to stream Shisheng's NG, but it turned out that he was just playing games. Playing games during working hours? Director, can't you do something about it? Director Zhong was speechless. Director Zhong asked everyone to take a break, and took out his phone to call Qin Yuan. He suspected that she was here to take revenge on him. He tried to sound Qin Yuan out in all sorts of bureaucratic ways, but to no avail. The atmosphere in the crew was extremely strange. It was not Shisheng's fault. She was not the one who NG, so they could not blame Shisheng. They could only look at Jiang Baiyu. Jiang Baiyu was at the same level. Why couldn't you do it? Jiang Baiyu's expression kept changing. It was extremely rich. When Qiao stood at a distance and felt a little happy. She was happy to see the man she loved so much to be embarrassed. "Sister Lan, Sister Chen is calling." Xiaobao held up his phone. "Pick it up." Shisheng's fingers moved quickly. "I'm not free." Xiaobao was speechless. "You're playing games and you're not free?" Sister Chen, Sister Lan said she's not free. Xiaobao told the person on the phone. Qin Yuan asked Xiaobao to put the phone to Shisheng's ear. "Miss Lan, what are you doing?" Qin Yuan tried to suppress her anger. "The director just called me blah blah blah. Are you listening to me? What are you doing? Why are you so noisy?" "Killing people." Shisheng spat out 2 words. Xiaobao's hand trembled. He could imagine Sister Chen's angry face. Finally, Qin Yuan hung up the phone in a fit of rage. Shisheng's game was also finished. Seeing the word victory on the screen, Shisheng's mood suddenly improved. She did not play for long. Director Zhong saw her put away her phone, and quickly asked the crew to start shooting. This time, it was much smoother, but Jiang Baiyu was still suppressed. Finally, Shisheng did not want to shoot anymore. He waved his hand, and went back to the hotel with his assistants. What a show-off! Wen Qiao's manager Fang Liang murmured as he watched Shisheng leave. Wen Qiao smiled and didn't say anything. One day, she would stand at the same height as her. Since Shisheng refused to shoot, Director Zhong had no choice but to shoot Wen Qiao and Jiang Baiyu first. Jiang Baiyu lost face in front of Shisheng. Previously, he did not get along well with Wen Qiao. When they were filming together, he started to suppress Wen Qiao's scenes. Wen Qiao was stopped several times. After the 10th or so NG, Director Zhong got angry and shouted into the loudspeaker. "What's wrong with you two, Wen Qiao? Why are you so stiff? He's someone you like, not your enemy. Are you trying to kill him?" "I'm sorry, Director." Wen Qiao apologized politely. How could the director not see that Jiang Baiyu was suppressing the scene? But with Jiang Baiyu's status, it was obvious who the director was helping. Director Zhong was also famous in the circle. He was already unhappy that the female lead was replaced. Now that the replaced female lead was finding fault with him, he was even more unhappy. The unlucky one was Wen Qiao. What's the use of apologizing? If you can't pass today's scene, don't even think about going home. Director Zhong said. The staff immediately complained. Shisheng and Jiang Baiyu wasted a lot of time just now. Now they wasted so much time again. It was almost 11 o'clock at night. Even if they passed today's scene, it would be early in the morning. There was still another scene tomorrow morning. Don't even think about sleeping tonight. Wen Qiao sensed the staff's emotions and asked Fang Liang to buy supper outside. The staff's emotions calmed down a little. The next day, Shisheng came to shoot Chen-Chi's scene. It was a fighting scene. Director Zhong wanted to let a stunt double do it, but Shisheng refused. She had fought more than he had eaten. This body was very flexible since she was a child. It was just a few moves. There was no need to use a stunt double for that level of fighting scene. Director Zhong was a little worried at first, but when he saw Shisheng's movements, he completely forgot about his worries. The martial arts director beside him nodded. This is a talent for martial arts. Shisheng did a handsome side flip and stood firmly on a pile of debris. The steel pipe in her hand slashed down diagonally, creating a sharp sound in the air. The metal objects on her body clanked. The girl's eyes were sharp. Blood slowly flowed down her arm that was wrapped with all kinds of accessories and dripped down the steel pipe to the ground. The person behind her fell to the ground with a plop. The whole set was silent. Got so cool. No one knew who broke the silence first. Cut. The director came back to his senses and quickly shouted cut. This one passed. Sister Lan. Xiao Bao and Xiao Fu quickly surrounded her. Are you hurt? Shisheng threw away the steel pipe in her hand and shook the red liquid on her arm. She took Xiao Bao's towel and wiped it. She raised her eyebrows at Xiao Fu. Girl, do I look like I'm hurt? The extra's on the ground. I'm the one who's hurt. Director, do you have any medical fees? The kick is so painful that I can't get up. Sister Lan, you were so cool just now. Xiao Fu worshipped her. That elegant movement, sharp eyes, bright short hair, it felt like she was in a foreign film. So cool. Shisheng brushed her hair in front of her eyes. I've always been cool. Sister Lan is the coolest. Xiao Fu worshipped her blindly. Xiao Bao reminded her. Sister Lan, let's go down first. The director is changing the scene. Shisheng went down and saw Wen Qiao standing beside the director, looking at her. Shisheng raised her chin and whistled at her. The female lead was stunned by my handsomeness. Very good. This achievement was done well. Shisheng's actions caused a few staff members to exclaim in surprise. Wen Qiao's face was expressionless, but her eyes were burning with fighting spirit. No wonder she's the best actress. Looks like I have to work harder. In the next few days, Shisheng was in charge of several fighting scenes. During this period, she gained N+1 die-hard fans from the crew. Qin Yuan called several times a day. Shisheng suspected that she was going to climb out of the phone and strangle her. Shisheng tortured Director Zhong in different ways, either asking for more scenes or less scenes. Of course, it was not directed at Wen Qiao, but at herself. What she said was very reasonable. Even the scriptwriter AI Wei Si could not refute. AI Wei Si. It's useless to refute anyway. You don't want to add scenes for her? She can do it herself. When she acted directly, and the other party could be led by her, as if they had rehearsed the lines before. It was amazing. The effect of her acting was better than his script. I'm regretting it now. AI Wei Si looked at the handsome figure on the screen and sighed. AI Wei Si's Chinese was not very fluent, with a strong Western accent. Her acting was very good. If she was the female lead, it would be better. However, AI Wei Si thought too much. The only reason Shisheng was able to act so well was because this character's setting suited her taste very well. If she really had to play such a sullen role as the female lead, Shisheng said, I can't do it. Chapter 479. Shisheng's last scene needed to be shot in the wild. The male and female lead were being hunted down. Coincidentally, Shisheng's character encountered them. In order to protect the two of them, she fought alone in the rainy night and died. The director waited for a long time for the heavy rain. Shisheng was still wearing the leather jacket, with clanking metal objects hanging on his body. Xiaosheng tried to pass it in one take. Director Zhong had a love-hate relationship with Shisheng, but from the way he addressed her, it was obvious that he still liked this sarcastic actress who always stole his lines. I'm fine with it. Shisheng moved his neck and glanced at Wen Qiao and Jiang Baiyu, who were not far away. As long as they can keep up with my pace, I'll pass it in one take. Director Zhong was speechless. She was still so annoying. He held an umbrella and went to negotiate with Wen Qiao and Jiang Baiyu. Miss, take some medicine to prevent catching a cold. Mei Jie handed the medicine to Shisheng. It was raining so heavily, and they still had to fight and kill. They had to take precautions. Shisheng glanced at Mei Jie, curled his lips and took the medicine. Sister Lan, be careful later. It's so dark and dangerous. Xiaofu reminded Shisheng worriedly. Don't worry, even if they all die, I won't die. Shisheng winked at Xiaofu. After Director Zhong negotiated with them, the shooting officially began. When Xiao and Jiang Baiyu were shot first. The place was an abandoned construction site. They had to run out of the unfinished building and then be surrounded by people. They had to fight first. When the male lead couldn't hold on anymore, it was time for Shisheng to appear. The martial arts actors were all a bit afraid of Shisheng. Her punches hurt a lot, but they wouldn't hurt the vital parts. Shisheng dragged a rusty steel pipe and rushed out of the rainy night. The light shone on her figure, making her look like a ghost. The sound of metal clanking was hazy in the rainy night. It was somewhat unreal. When they saw her figure, she had already rushed over. The steel pipe swung down and cut past one of the people's ears. But from the camera, she hit his body. After some processing, it would be even more perfect. As the rain poured down, the girl waved the steel pipe as if she didn't know exhaustion. Her body and face were stained with blood. She pulled Jiang Baiyu up from the ground while Jiang Baiyu supported Wen Xiao. Let's go. The young girl roared. What are you going to do? It's none of your business. Shisheng pushed them away, his eyes full of hatred. From now on, I don't owe you anything. Take your woman and get lost. Jiang Baiyu hesitated for a moment, but still brought Wen Xiao away. However, Wen Xiao suddenly let out a scream. Her body went limp and she fell to the ground. Shisheng was standing right beside her. She conveniently pulled Shisheng. Shisheng staggered. She was surrounded by dense, sharp steel bars. She quickly used a steel pipe to support herself and jumped to a safe place. However, her forehead was still scratched. This was not something that should happen in a movie. After the Shisheng landed, the staff exclaimed and quickly ran over. When the light came on, Wen Xiao fell to the ground, covering her foot with a painful expression. What happened? Director Zhong also came over and shone the flashlight on Shisheng. Xiaosheng, are you okay? Are you hurt? Xiaofu and Xiaobao also squeezed through the crowd. Sister Lan, her forehead is bleeding. Once they heard that Shisheng's forehead was bleeding, most of the people gathered around her. Director Zhong saw this and could only care about the heroine. Where are you hurt? Director Zhong asked someone to help Wen Xiao up. Something bit me. Director Zhong frowned and hurriedly asked someone to help her into the shed. Shisheng was also crowded into the shed. He first changed his clothes and then treated the wound on his head. The wound was not very serious, just a scratch. When Shisheng came out, Wen Xiao had already been sent away. It was said that she was bitten by a poisonous snake and was poisoned. Why is there a poisonous snake here? Shisheng frowned and asked Xiaobao, who was standing behind him. Xiaobao scratched his head. There is a snake farm nearby. It probably escaped from there. Director Zhong sent someone to check the surroundings and purposely sprinkled sulfur. Maybe the sulfur was washed away by the rain. I don't know what Wen Xiao was thinking. At that time, movie King Jiang was closer to her. Why did she come to drag Sister Lan? Xiaofu complained. If Sister Lan was not good at fighting and reacted quickly. Xiaofu did not finish the sentence, but everyone knew. If not for Shisheng's quick reaction, she would be lying in the hospital now. Her survival would be a problem. Wen Xiao, whether you did it intentionally or not, this feud is set. Wen Xiao was hospitalized. These few scenes could only be delayed. How did the public know about this matter? Of course, the main focus was not the newbie Wen Xiao, but the safety of the crew. In the end, it somehow involved the whole industry. This matter caused a lot of commotion. The news of Shisheng's injury was suppressed by Qing Yuan, or else this matter would be blown up. However, Shisheng was scolded by Qing Yuan again. In the end, after confirming that it was only a minor injury and she would recover soon, he hung up the phone and called Director Zhong to communicate. Wen Xiao was discharged from the hospital after the wound on Shisheng's forehead scabbed over. The first thing she did after leaving the hospital was to apologize to Shisheng. Xiaofu blocked her at the door of the hotel room and rejected her firmly. Sister Lan is resting. She has no time to see you. Yo, isn't this our female lead? What's wrong? You caused Miss Lan to be injured and still have the nerve to disturb her rest. How shameless. Meng Shiran, who was wearing a red dress, came to this floor. Seeing Wen Qiao standing at the door of Shisheng, she immediately mocked her. Since the fight for the room last time, Wen Qiao and Meng Shiran had been on bad terms. Wen Qiao always felt that she came back for revenge. She was full of resentment and was unwilling to give in. This could be explained as being young and aggressive. She would only smooth these edges when she suffered in the future. Wen Qiao looked at Meng Shiran without saying anything. After a while, she nodded at Xiaofu. Then I'll come back later. TSK, such a thick skin. Meng Shiran was still adding oil to the fire. Miss Meng, if you have time to argue with me, you might as well use it to practice your acting. Wen Qiao. Meng Shiran was like a cat whose tail was stepped on. Her voice immediately became shrill. Xiaofu frowned and closed the door, blocking their voices outside. After that, Xiaofu heard that Meng Shiran slapped Wen Qiao, and Wen Qiao's face was swollen. This scene really couldn't be filmed anymore. Director Zhong was furious. On the other side of the crew, there were indecent photos of Jiang Baiyu and the crew having sex in the car. No one knew who was behind this, but it was quite a big deal. Bad things really came one after another. The progress of the whole crew was delayed. Shisheng's wound on his forehead was almost healed. She received a call from Lan Qing, who was almost done with his work and would be back in a few days. He asked her to go out for a meal. She touched her forehead and felt that there shouldn't be anything wrong, so she went to meet him. Chapter 480. D City was famous for its seafood. Lan Qing invited Shisheng for a seafood meal. As Shisheng was a public figure, he chose to eat in the private room. The two of them were bickering while eating seafood. They did not care about their image at all. They were just like ordinary siblings. Princess, sometimes I really regret it. Lan Qing sighed as he leaned back on the chair. Shisheng was still fighting with the crab. He asked him vaguely, "What do you regret?" "I regret letting you enter this industry." Lan Qing looked at the bustling lights outside the window. "Look, we have to sneak out to have a meal. You always stay at home during the holidays. You told me that you don't want to go out, but I know that you are just afraid of the paparazzi outside. I really regret it." Lan Qing said these 4 words with a heavy heart. Shisheng wiped his hands. "Brother, do you like your current career?" Lan Qing turned to look at him. His eyes were still filled with the prosperity outside. "I don't have a choice." Lan Qing shook his head slowly. He did not like it. But if he did not do it, would he let Lan Qing do it? "But I have a choice. But I have to pay a price for it." "Brother, this is the rule." Lan Qing gave up what he liked for the company, because he wanted to protect his broken home. Lan Qing loved acting, so she had to give up her freedom. The world was not fair, but it was fair. Nothing was absolute. Lan Qing could not see the girl sitting opposite him clearly. After a while he laughed. "I will work hard." His gaze was firm and he seemed to be more confident than before. He wanted to build a kingdom for his princess. "Come on." Shisheng continued to fight with the crab. "Earn 1 billion first." Lan Qing spat out a mouthful of water. He patted his chest. "Princess, you are too unambitious. Do you know how much your brother is worth now?" Shisheng was puzzled. "How much?" Lan Qing drank his water calmly. "Not 1 billion yet." Shisheng. "Then why did you say it?" "Don't worry, I will have it soon. Earning 1 billion is not difficult for me." "Very good, very CEO." Shisheng was sent back to the hotel by Lan Qing. He was worried about her and sent her to the door. Who knew she would meet Wen Qiao again? Female lead Darren, you're really haunting me like a ghost. I don't think I've offended you. Well, you go back first. I have something to talk to her about, Shisheng said. Once when Xiao opened her mouth, Lan Qing would know that she was injured. Being yelled at by Qin Yuan was already miserable enough. I don't want to be nagged by this crazy siscon. Lan Qing looked at Wen Xiao and nodded. Rest early. Shisheng gave him an okay sign. Before the elevator moved, Lan Qing pressed the button and it opened. After Lan Qing took the elevator down, Shisheng walked straight to his room without looking at Wen Xiao. Miss Lan. Wen Xiao said, I'm sorry for what happened that day. Okay. Shisheng swiped his card and pushed the door open. Miss Lan, you have forgiven me. Wen Xiao's eyes lit up. Shisheng turned to look at her and said with a faint smile, You're thinking too much. You're so naive. Wen Xiao's face turned pale. Do you know what would have happened to me if I didn't have that steel pipe? The steel pipe would have gone through my head, and I would have died on the spot. Wen Xiao's face turned even paler. Shisheng remained calm and waited for Wen Xiao's face to turn as white as paper. Then he said slowly, It's just a bite. Your reaction should be to step back instead of pulling me. Miss Wen, what are you thinking? Don't try to guess the female lead's thoughts. You won't be able to guess anyway. What does Miss Lan want? Wen Xiao bit her lips as if Shisheng was bullying her. Shisheng held the door and looked distressed. I haven't thought about it yet. This was a society ruled by law. She couldn't just use a sword and beat him up to vent her anger. She really hadn't thought about it yet. Wen Xiao was speechless. Shisheng closed the door in Wen Xiao's face. After a while, the crew finally got back to work. After waiting for a heavy rain, Shisheng continued with her last scene. All the previous shots could be used. All they needed to do was reshoot the scene of the three of them, and then the scene of Shisheng fighting one-on-one and getting killed would be good enough. During the scene, Wen Xiao was a little out of it and shouted several NGs. In such a heavy rain, Shisheng was a little hot. F***ck. She threw away the steel pipe in her hand, and looked at the sky with her hands on her waist. Jiang Baiyu was also tortured to the point that his face turned ugly. Wen Xiao was in a difficult position. She couldn't keep up with Shisheng's rhythm. Shisheng was in control of the scene. Shisheng wiped his face and shouted to Director Zhong, Shoot my scene first. Director Zhong made an okay gesture, and asked the crew to set up the scene. The lights and cameras were in place. Shisheng carried the steel pipe and surrounded by people. This scene was shot 5 times. One of the times, Shisheng moved too much and the camera couldn't capture the scene. The other times, it was the extras who had problems. After the last scene, Xiao Fu and Xiao Bao, who were waiting at the side, rushed into the rain and brought Shisheng back to the tent. In the cubicle, Shisheng changed into dry clothes and walked out while drying his hair. The atmosphere was a little tense. Everyone was staring at Director Zhong. Wen Xiao stood in front of Director Zhong. Director Zhong probably just lost his temper because there was still anger on his face. Sister Lan, drink some water. Xiao Bao passed the hot water to Shisheng. What's wrong? Shisheng sat on the chair and pointed his chin at Director Zhong. Director Zhong was explaining the scene to Wen Xiao just now. I don't know what she said, but Director Zhong just got angry. Xiao Fu stood beside her with a towel. I don't know how she got the female lead role. This role was originally given to Sister Lan. In the end, Wen Xiao was taken away by her manager. Director Zhong drank a few mouthfuls of water before walking to Shisheng. Xiaosheng, you'll have to work hard later. We still have to shoot for a while. What's wrong with her? Shisheng went straight to the point. Director Zhong heaved a sigh of relief. She said she can't keep up with your pace. She wants me and you to. She wants me to take care of her? I can't help it. Xiaosheng you. It's her problem if she can't act. Why should I take care of her? I'm just doing my job. Taking care of a newbie is not within my scope of consideration. It's out of kindness for a senior to take care of you. Not taking care of you is out of duty. If you can't keep up with the acting, you can't blame others. Director Zhong was speechless. He opened his mouth and said, Xiaosheng, how many years have you been in the industry? She's just a young girl who just entered the industry. Why bother with her? Shisheng looked at Director Zhong with a faint smile. This young girl was someone who almost killed her. Since she can't keep up, then let her faint. You guys can reshoot the scenes in front. When I met them, she was already unconscious. Is that okay? Shisheng suggested. Wen Xiao didn't have any lines there anyway. Director Zhong called Ai Weici and finally agreed with Shisheng's suggestion. Chapter 481. What? Wen Xiao's face darkened after hearing the news. Although she didn't have any lines, Her facial expressions were still important. What she did was equivalent to deleting her scene. Fang Liang's face was solemn. She didn't accept your apology. She won't let it go so easily. When Xiao was silent for a while, I'll call Avis. It's no use. The director must have asked him before agreeing. Since he agreed, he won't change it easily. Fang Liang shook his head. Wen Xiao, you've been a little impetuous recently. Wen Xiao held her phone and pursed her lips. Fang Liang patted her shoulder. Taking on such a big role for your first time, there must be pressure. Fang Liang comforted Wen Xiao and the scene was finally settled. Without Wen Xiao dragging them down, the filming progress picked up instantly. After filming, director Zhong gave Shisheng a red packet. Every actor who died in the drama would get a red packet for good luck. Shisheng squeezed it. It was quite a lot. Miss Lan, I have another drama coming up. Are you interested? Not interested. Shisheng shook his head. But if there's such a role, you can look for me. Shisheng gave him a, you know what I mean look. Such a role. Director Zhong was silent. His drama didn't have such a role. She was about to change it to the main character. Shisheng left the set the next day. When she returned, Shisheng refused to go back to the company. Chen Yuan must be waiting for her there. She wouldn't go. After sending the 4 assistants away, Shisheng drove home alone. She parked the car in the basement, got out and walked towards the elevator. After a few steps, she turned back. Her gaze fell on a parking space beside her. It was an off-road car. The one she drove to pick up Lan Qing. But, who could tell her why her car was graffiti? What the hell was it? How bad was this person's artistic talent? Well, the license plate was even pried open. Shisheng walked around the car. Other than the graffiti, the license plate was pried open. And the tires were deflated, there was nothing else. Nothing. Shisheng's mind was filled with 10,000 fuck your mother's curses. Which idiot dared to touch I's car when I wasn't around? The Shisheng called the property management. The property management had long discovered that the car had been damaged, but they couldn't contact the owner, so they didn't dare to touch it. Shisheng remembered that the original owner had left a landline at the property management. She hadn't even gone home. So how could she receive a call? The property management staff told her that the crime was committed on July 23rd at around 3 a.m. The culprit had covered the camera, so no one could see anyone at all. Since the owner was not around, they did not dare to call the police. July 23rd, just a few days after she went to D-City. You're even on the lookout. Get me the surveillance footage of all the intersections. Shisheng sat in the property management office and ordered the property manager opposite him. Ah, what's with the ah? I said, get me all the surveillance footage of all the intersections. It's not as if he can fly out from the sky. The owner is paying you guys to serve him. Are you guys useless? Shisheng was furious now. The property manager naturally knew who the person sitting in front of him was. He didn't dare to say anything after being yelled at. He called someone to pull up the surveillance footage. However, in his heart he was cursing her. She looked like a fair, rich, and beautiful woman on TV. But why was her temper so bad in reality? Sure enough, celebrities were two-faced people. Then, the property manager saw the bad-tempered movie queen using a skill that he couldn't understand at all to separate a few videos. The movie queen actually had such an awesome skill. You really can't judge a book by its cover. Shisheng pointed at a figure that appeared in several videos and asked the property manager, "Who is he?" The property manager looked over and recognized him at a glance. Not because of anything else, but because of his weird dressing, which made him look like a gangster. In this apartment where a bunch of elites and successful people gathered, he was very eye-catching. It was hard for the property manager not to remember him. It's Gucci, the owner of Building 606. The property manager certainly didn't dare to say that he was a gangster. After all, the owners who could live here were basically rich. How could a gangster afford to live in such a high-end apartment? Of course, he could also be a gigolo who was kept by a rich woman. But no matter what, he as a property manager couldn't afford to offend him. 606. The property manager nodded and broke out in cold sweat. Why did he feel that the movie queen's gaze was so scary? Shisheng grabbed her bag and stood up, walking outside. Movie queen, should we call the police? The property manager followed behind Shisheng. No, I'll settle it with him privately. Shisheng's expression had returned to normal, as if she wasn't the one who was angry in the office just now. The property manager was speechless. She was indeed an actress. She changed her expression so quickly. Settling it privately is good. Settling it privately is none of my business. Shisheng raised her head and looked at the door number. Great 606. Just when Shisheng was about to draw her sword, the system suddenly popped out. Hidden task. Outstanding person. Shisheng's hand paused. Why did it pop out so quickly this time? Target. Gucci helped Gucci rebuild his image and become a qualified and successful person. What the hell? What the hell is rebuilding his image? Your task is getting more and more careless. Feng Xiai, your treatment is getting worse and worse. Just when she was hesitating whether to draw her sword or not, the door was suddenly opened and a rough voice floated out from inside. This guy is very stubborn, but he still has some backbone. His king is. Unfortunately, he provoked our brother Feng. The person who opened the door was a young man with dyed blonde hair. His face was full of acne and he smelled of sweat. Seeing a beautiful girl standing outside the door, his eyes were fixed on her. After taking a closer look, his eyes began to sparkle. You, are you Lan Sheng? Ma Zi, who are you talking to? I asked you to go out and buy something. Why are you dawdling? The rough voice floated out again. Shisheng was a bit disillusioned. This situation is a bit wrong. Gucci can't be a hunk, right? I'm a good-looking person. If you're too ugly, I won't recognize you. No. Looking at the surveillance camera, he doesn't look like a hunk. Alright, even if he's ugly, as long as he's Feng Xiai, I still have to recognize him. It's all fate. Sigh. The young man ignored the voice inside. He was so excited that he didn't know what to do. He pulled the blonde hair on his head and tried to tidy up his image. Goddess Lan Shengyu, why are you here? He actually saw his goddess. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I want to take a picture. Take a picture together. I'm looking for someone. Shisheng frowned. Is Gucci here? Gucci? The young man's hand that was holding the phone paused. He looked inside, then looked at Shisheng. Finally, he screamed with a sad face. Brother Tian, Goddess Lan Sheng is looking for Gucci the gigolo. Why is Gucci, the gigolo, so likable? Ah, even the goddess is looking for him. The young man grabbed his hair like a madman. Shisheng was speechless. This kid is crazy. Chapter 482. What Prince Charming or Goddess? I want you to go shopping. A rough voice came from afar. A tall and strong figure came out from inside and kicked the young man's butt. The young man lost his balance and fell towards Shisheng. I'm going to have intimate contact with my goddess. The young man pouted and opened his hands, looking intoxicated. Shisheng was speechless and kicked him. The young man fell to the side and hit the wall. Yo, where did this woman come from? Shisheng looked at the person who spoke. It was a tall man with smooth skin, tattoos all over his arms, thick eyebrows, big eyes, and a square face. He looked quite fierce. Is Gucci here? Shisheng ignored his malicious gaze. Looking for Gucci? He's here, come in. The man pointed inside and smiled maliciously. The young man with yellow hair was still climbing on the wall. Once he heard the man asking Shisheng to go in, he immediately got up. Brother Tian, this is... The man glared at him fiercely and the young man with yellow hair was instantly silenced. Shisheng stepped into the house. It was messy inside, as if someone had ransacked it. From these things, it could be seen that the owner was very rich. Go out and find a place to stay. Don't come back unless I call for you, do you hear me? Brother Tian pressed the young man's head and threatened him fiercely. The young man with yellow hair opened his mouth, only to see a graceful figure disappearing around the corner. He wanted to remind Brother Tian that this was the movie Queen Lan Sheng. They could not afford to offend her, but Brother Tian had already closed the door. The layout of the house was similar to hers. The living room was in a European style, but it was also in a mess. In the midst of the mess, a boy was tied to a chair. He was wearing a black hoodie with a skull pattern on it. He was also wearing black pants, and his feet were bare. The boy tilted his head and looked down. He had earrings on his ears which reflected the light. It was a very decadent and beautiful scene. Gucci, look, there's a girl looking for you. Brother Tian came in from the back and kept looking at Shisheng. Look at this body, Tsedeske. You're so lucky. You're lucky today. Hearing Brother Tian's voice, the boy slowly turned his head and looked over. Shisheng thought he could hear the sound of his neck cracking. A beautiful color appeared in front of Gucci. Of course, he knew the person in front of him, Lan Sheng, the youngest best actress. Not long ago, he had even graffitied her car. Don't touch her. His voice was a little hoarse, probably because he hadn't drunk water for a long time. Don't touch her? Ha ha ha, Gucci. Who do you think you are? This chick came to me on her own accord and you're telling me not to touch her? Brother Tian seemed to have heard a funny joke. Today, I will do her in front of you. Brother Tian took a few steps closer to the Shisheng. You're quite calm, little girl. Did you see that? Your little lover is in this state because he touched a woman he shouldn't have. Today, I will let him have a taste of what it feels like to have his woman taken in front of him. Brother Tian stretched his hand toward the Shisheng. Gucci's voice suddenly became louder with a hint of madness. Don't touch her. Brother Tian seemed to have been stimulated and became even more excited. His hands reached out to hug the Shisheng. Swoosh! Brother Tian's body stopped abruptly. Brother Tian's frightened face was reflected on the cold iron sword. A sword that appeared out of nowhere. Is this woman a human or a ghost? The iron sword was pointed at Brother Tian's chest by the Shisheng. You want to be rough with me? You want to have sex with me? It's been a long time since I met someone with such guts. The Shisheng kicked his crotch. Ah! Brother Tian covered his crotch and groaned. He arched his body with a painful expression. The iron sword was held by the Shisheng. F*CKU, you still want to have sex with me? Do you still want to have sex with me? Do you still want to have sex with me? I don't dare anymore. Please spare my life. I don't dare anymore. Ah! Brother Tian had no ability to resist the kick, and could only roll on the ground. F*CKU. The Shisheng kicked him a few more times and tied him up with a rope similar to the one on Gucci Fu. The Shisheng blew her bangs and took a deep breath. She walked to Gucci and bent down to untie him. Gucci lowered his head from the beginning to the end. Gucci, the Shisheng called out to him. He raised his head slowly. The only color in his eyes was her. He tilted his head and his neck cracked along with his movements. So it wasn't her hallucination just now. The Shisheng sat on the coffee table and stared at him for a few seconds. There was no spiritual energy in this world. She didn't know how to confirm it. Although according to the system's routine, there was basically no need to confirm, but she was still a little worried. What if the system didn't follow the routine this time? After all, he was a retard. Before she was sure, the Shisheng decided to settle the score first. What's wrong with you? You damaged my car and pried my license plate. The Shisheng waited for about a minute before she heard Gucci's voice. Nothing. Gucci's voice was still so hoarse and unpleasant, torturing the ears. He stared at the Shisheng intently, as if he wanted to see a pile of money from her. The two looked at each other speechlessly. The Shisheng threw away the rope in her hand. Even if he was Feng Xi, this retard should suffer a little. But it was okay to be bullied by her. But if he was bullied by others, he still had to get back at them. The corner of the Shisheng's eyes swept to the phone on the coffee table. She picked it up and glanced at it. There was a password. The Shisheng stood up and walked to the front of Brother Tian. Password. Brother Tian didn't say anything. The Shisheng kicked him. Password. 224562. Brother Tian felt the pain and immediately reported a few numbers. I already said that you guys are stupid. You can't resist it. Why did you only say it after being beaten? You're crazy. The Shisheng unlocked the phone quickly. The desktop was very obscene. Big bundled girl, bikini rippling water. The Shisheng found a recent call in the call history. The caller ID was Brother Feng and dialed it directly. Trick him to come here. If he dares to talk nonsense, I'll kill you. The iron sword was pointed at Brother Tian's neck as Shisheng put the phone on speaker. Although Brother Tian was big and looked intimidating, He was actually a bully who feared the strong and bullied the weak. Previously, he thought that this woman was weak and beautiful, so she must be easy to bully. Who knew that he would kick an iron board? The phone was picked up after a while. There was a gasp from the other side. "Eyes working, why are you calling?" Brother Tian swallowed his saliva. "Brother Feng, Gucci is convinced. Please come over." "Oh, I thought that gigolo could last for a few more days. I didn't expect him to be such a coward. Okay, I'm coming over." The other side hung up the phone directly. The Shisheng threw the phone aside. "Come, tell me what happened." Brother Tian trembled as he recounted what had happened. Gucci touched the woman called Brother Feng. Naturally, Brother Feng wanted to teach Gucci a lesson. But Gucci didn't give in, so today's incident happened. It was as simple as that. "Woman, is she beautiful?" "Not bad." "Is she as beautiful as me?" "No." Chapter 483. Brother Feng arrived very quickly, and he even brought a woman with him. Shisheng opened the door for him. Seeing Shisheng, Brother Feng's eyes almost fell on her body, her chest. Shisheng turned sideways with a smile on his face. "Please come in." "Hey, little Tian, where did you get a girl who's prettier than a celebrity?" Brother Feng did not suspect anything and walked straight in. Shisheng closed the door and locked it. "I'm a celebrity." "What?" Shisheng kicked him. The woman who was hugged by Brother Feng screamed in fear and hid in the bathroom next door. Shisheng calmly pulled the bathroom door over and shut the noise. Brother Feng was a little stunned by the sudden kick, but he also saw Brother Tian who was tied up by Shisheng. Shisheng did not give Brother Feng a chance to get up. He placed the iron sword on his chest. "I'm a celebrity, do you hear me?" "Fuck you be *th. Brother Feng reacted and cursed. "Do you know who I am? How dare you fight with I? Believe it or not, I will make you suffer." Brother Feng only dared to curse. After all, Shisheng still had a cold and shiny iron sword in his hand. "Hey, you're quite arrogant." Shisheng stepped on his chest with the iron sword at his throat. "Show me how arrogant you are." Brother Feng could feel the cold and piercing temperature. The woman who stepped on him had a delicate face, but her expression was too gloomy. It reminded him of those psychopathic murderers on TV. He could not help but tremble and said incoherently, "You? Who are you? I have no grudge against you. What do you want?" Shisheng first beat Brother Feng up, then tied him up and threw him in front of Gucci. "You can leave when he forgives you." Brother Feng and Brother Tian looked at each other. Where did this gigolo find such a tough girl? Then, what if he doesn't forgive us? Brother Tian asked with a trembling voice. "Then we'll chop you up and feed you to the dogs." They usually heard these words from the big shots in the underworld. Now that they suddenly heard such a beautiful woman say it, they didn't feel the slightest bit out of place. Gucci maintained his posture. He was not moved at all by the two of them kneeling in front of him and begging for mercy. He moved his finger and pointed at a phone in the distance. Shisheng glanced at him and handed him the phone. The booting process was slow. The speed at which he swiped the screen was even slower. It took him almost 3 minutes to make a call. He turned on the speakerphone. When the call connected, there was the loud sound of a motorcycle engine mixed with the screams of men and women. "Boss. Shut the F***ck up. F***ck stop." The other side quickly quieted down. "Boss, where have you been these few days? Come to my house." Gucci said these 3 words and hung up the phone. The phone slipped from his hand and fell to the ground. After that, Gucci did not say a word. He maintained the same posture until the doorbell rang. A group of young men and women dressed in colorful clothes stood outside. They were all quite good-looking. Although he was dressed like a hooligan, his clothes were obviously expensive. Shisheng opened the door. The group of people outside was shocked and confused. "Isn't this Lan Sheng? Why is she at boss's house? Boss, what did you do behind our backs? The person in charge, come in. The rest wait outside." Shisheng said and turned back to the living room. This group of people was like a colorful Mary Sue. They were dazzling. A guy standing in front signaled to the people behind him and followed Shisheng in. "God. Boss, was your house robbed?" Boss. The guy saw the living room and was even more confused. Isn't this Qian Feng? Why is this trash here? Most importantly, the movie queen Lan Sheng is here. Ah. Gucci did not answer for a long time. The guy seemed to be used to his behavior. He went up and kicked Qian Feng. After he finished, Gucci raised his head. Get rid of him. That nonchalant tone of his made it seem as if he wasn't the one who had been kidnapped earlier. Okay. The guy responded and shouted outside. 2 people come in. Soon 2 guys came in. Same rule. The 2 guys looked at Gucci and understood something. They dragged the 2 people who were still begging for mercy outside. There's a woman in the bathroom. Get her out too. Sheng reminded. Seeing that Gucci did not object, the guy got rid of the woman in the bathroom and asked the 2 girls to clean up the house. The 2 girls glanced at Sheng from time to time. They were probably curious about how Gucci knew her. It was just a simple cleaning up and it was done quickly. The guy went outside for a while. When he came back, those people were already gone. Movie queen, can you give me an autograph? The guy became silly instantly. Ah, goddess, you must give me an autograph. Sheng was speechless. This guy did not care about his boss first and asked for her autograph first. Is there something wrong with his brain? The guy's name was Lin Nan. In his own words, he was Gucci's assistant cum protector. Of course, the title of protector was given by him. The assistant also took up the position automatically. Boss's reaction is a bit slow. Goddess, please don't mind. I'll bring boss to change his clothes first. You can sit anywhere you want. After bragging to Sheng, Lin Nan remembered his boss who was forgotten by him. Lin Nan helped Gucci to treat his injuries and came out after a while. Gucci was still wearing the same hoodie, the same model, even the skull was the same. It was impossible to tell that he had changed his clothes. He stared at Sheng for a few seconds and suddenly took out a car key from his pocket. I'll pay for your car. After that, he sat down without saying anything or doing anything else. Sheng was speechless. Is there something wrong with this guy? Flips table. I never met a normal villain. Lin Nan was used to his boss's behavior. This silly guy immediately forgot about his boss and pulled Sheng to ask, Goddess, how do you know my boss? He damaged my car. I'm looking for him. Sheng answered simply. Boss, what kind of trick is this? Lin Nan was a bit confused. Why did he damage the goddess car? No, boss only damaged one car recently. Goddess, you live here too? Lin Nan exclaimed exaggeratedly. The goddess actually lives here. Yes. What's wrong with living here? The original owner seemed to like the environment of this apartment. It was very quiet. Lin Nan was so happy that he was bubbling. His eyes were heart-shaped. Lin Nan was quite handsome, like a big brother next door. He was sunny and handsome, but his smile was a bit mischievous. Looking at a big guy looking at him with such a gaze, Sheng couldn't help but shiver. He's not even as good as the sick one over there. Lin Nan twisted his head for a while. His eyeballs were rolling around. He suddenly asked, Goddess, did you deal with those 2 scumbags just now? Sheng raised his eyebrows. Why didn't he say that it was his boss who dealt with them? Lin Nan scratched his head embarrassedly and pulled Sheng to the side. When my boss fights, he always beats them to death, the kind that makes them unable to stand up. Oh, seems like I didn't hit them hard enough. Sheng concluded. Chapter 484. Sheng and Lin Nan exchanged phone numbers. Sheng took the car keys that Gucci threw on the table and went out. The car ending with 573. Goddess, take care. Drop by when you're free. Lin Nan sent Sheng to the door. She looked at Gucci who was still motionless, nodded and turned to leave. Ah, my goddess, I'm so happy to be in such close contact with my goddess. Sigh, damn, I forgot to take a picture with my goddess. Lin Nan was upset. Next time, I must take a picture with my goddess. When Lin Nan turned around, he realized that Gucci who was sitting on the chair just now was gone. He looked around and found Gucci in the bathroom of the bedroom, standing with his back facing him. Boss. Lin Nan called. Gucci lowered his head and answered after a long time. Do you want to go to the hospital? Lin Zainan stopped being silly and looked at Guqi's back worriedly. Guqi replied after a long time. No. Then I'll go buy some food for you. You take a rest first. They have a gathering tonight. Boss can go there to handle it. After Guqi answered again, Lin Zainan took out the key and went out. If he didn't take the key, boss would definitely not open the door for him when he came up later. Shisheng just went home and took a shower when Chen Yuan rushed over. She probably just came down from a negotiation table, as she was still wearing a very formal work attire. Shisheng glanced at her cleavage. Sister Chen, your breasts seem to have grown bigger. Breasts? This stupid girl still has the mood to care about my breasts. Lansheng. Chen Yuan looked at her seriously. I know you're upset that your role was taken away, but you don't have to go to the crew to cause trouble. Sister Chen, what are you talking about? I just think that role is pretty good. You see, when the broadcast is out, I'll definitely attract a group of young girls. Look at my acting, I'm so handsome. Chen Yuan was speechless. Why is there something wrong with her artist? Lansheng used to be a dignified goddess, not dirty or narcissistic. She was a little narcissistic, but not so blatantly narcissistic. How long has she been in D-City? How did she change so much? Was she a little too lively? Chen Yuan took a deep breath and scolded Shisheng for a while before taking out a few scripts from her bag. Take a look at them yourself. These scripts are not bad. I have a meeting later, so I'll come back later. Shisheng made an okay sign and sent housekeeper Chen Yuan away. Shisheng threw the script to a corner and went to play games on his phone. Chen Yuan was so busy. After this meeting, there would be another one. After the next meeting, the artist would get into trouble again. By the time Chen Yuan arrived, a few days had already passed. Chen Yuan had the keys to the apartment, so she opened the door and walked in. The moment she entered, she complained. Shenshin, what kind of people are living in your apartment? They're dressed in a mess. I think you should move to Eugene Garden. It's closer to the company. Shisheng looked up from his phone and said, No. Would it be more convenient for Chen Yuan to check on him if he moved there? Chen Yuan didn't force her. She only reminded her. Then be careful. When I came up just now, I saw a few people dressed like hooligans standing below. They don't look like good people. Oh. Have you read the scripts I told you to? Chen Yuan frowned when she saw the scripts thrown casually on the sofa. They looked so new that it didn't seem like anyone had flipped through them before. I just finished filming. Sister Chen, let me take a break. Shisheng mumbled. He was spinning like a top. These films will only start filming after the new year. Chen Yuan frowned. This is how the industry is. If you're late, you won't have a place. Some of the films had been booked a year in advance. I'll read them later. Shisheng immediately answered, in case Chen Yuan started nagging. You have a commercial to shoot next Monday. After that, you'll start filming The First Imperial Concubine on September 6th. After that, it will be almost the new year. Shisheng listened to Chen Yuan's progress. Shisheng responded half-heartedly as he continued to play games. Chen Yuan was speechless. Her artist was addicted to games. I'll pick you up next Monday. I can go by myself. Sister Chen, you're a busy woman. It's just a commercial. It's not a big deal. He was going to die if he went with Chen Yuan. Although Shisheng didn't want to go with Chen Yuan still came. The endorsement fee for this commercial was quite high. It was a very luxurious perfume. I'll have to trouble you during the shoot. Miss Land's aura matches this perfume very well. It's not difficult. Chen Yuan was negotiating with the other side. Shisheng walked around the cameraman and watched him work on the equipment. The cameraman was a man with a long beard. Seeing Shisheng walking around, he took the initiative to say, Miss Lan is interested in photography. All cameramen take nude photos, right? I'm curious if you have any reaction when you take nude photos. Shisheng said with a straight face. The cameraman was speechless. Where did this dirty girl come from? Boss, you've hired the wrong person. Miss Lan is a dignified goddess. Ahem, it's an art. To us, it's just an ordinary object. Shisheng blinked. It must be because her breasts are small. Ahem, ahem, ahem. The cameraman really choked on his saliva this time. Although what she said was the truth, she shouldn't say such things out loud, okay? Shisheng's questions were getting more and more tricky. The cameraman felt uncomfortable all over. Unfortunately, the questions were all academic. It was a dirty academic question. Why did you, a movie queen, come here to ask this question? Can you please maintain your identity as a movie queen? Dignified. Elegant. After a while, the cameraman let out a sigh of relief. Shisheng smiled at the cameraman. Take a good shot of me later. Of course, of course. If I don't take a good shot, do I have to wait for you to come and discuss with you the correct way to shoot? The shoot went smoothly. After the shoot, Shisheng was sent home by Chen Yuan. Chen Yuan told him not to run around and to stay at home and read the script. Shisheng called a girl in the crew of Proud Sun and asked her about the shooting progress. The girl told Shisheng that the shoot in D-City was about to end, and she would be back here soon. Wen Xiao's performance was getting better and better after she left, but Meng Shiran kept giving her trouble. Shisheng thanked her and hung up. As soon as she hung up, an unknown number called. Goddess, goddess, are you free? It was a noisy voice in the background. Shisheng was stunned. It took him a while to recognize the owner of the voice. Yes, what's up? Lin Zainan probably didn't expect Shisheng to say that she was free. He immediately shushed the others. Goddess, we're at Dihao Entertainment Club. Do you want to come out and have some fun? Dihao. Asterisk little fairy. I want tickets now. Cherub, stop acting cute no. Little fairy. Acting cute cherub, perfunctory. Chapter 485. The Dihao Entertainment Club was a high-end place in City A. People who came here were either rich kids or business elites. Shisheng drove himself and Lin Zainan was waiting for him outside. Shisheng parked the car, put on his sunglasses, and walked towards Lin Zainan. Lin Zainan's eyes lit up when he saw Shisheng, but he controlled himself because they were in a public place and his goddess was a public figure. Goddess, you're so nice. I'm so happy. Lin Zainan couldn't help but jump up and down as soon as he entered a place with fewer people. Shisheng was speechless. Looking at a 1.8-meter-tall man jumping up and down like a retarded child, this experience was really. Their room was 888 yuan. It was very big, but there weren't many people inside. They were dressed normally, unlike last time. Brothers and sisters, look who this is. Lin Zainan's voice immediately attracted the attention of the people in the room. Someone turned off the music and the whole room quieted down. F***CK, young Master Lin, you really managed to get movie Queen Lan to come? Someone cursed. Lin Zainan raised his head proudly. Of course, do I look like I'm joking? I told you that I know your goddess, but you didn't believe me. Now you've been slapped in the face. Remember to give me your car keys. F***CK Lin Zainan, you bastard. Humph. Lin Zainan turned to Shisheng and smiled. Goddess, let me introduce you. The bastard who scolded me just now is called Yiming. What are you waiting for? Come and propose a toast to our goddess. A group of people came over with wine glasses in their hands. The light wasn't very bright, so Shisheng couldn't tell what they looked like. There were 4 boys and 2 girls. When introducing the girls, Shisheng clearly felt that one of the girls, Yi Jingyi, was hostile to him. Brother Zainan, why do you bring all kinds of people here? Yi Jingyi's undisguised disdain made the atmosphere awkward. What kind of people are they? Shisheng answered with a smile. His tone was so calm that no one could tell whether he was happy or angry. What do you mean? Yi Jingyi, don't mess around. Lin Zainan pulled her aside. Yi Jingyi immediately exploded. How am I messing around? Who is she? Miss Lan is my guest. Lin Zainan's tone also became tough. Guest. Yi Jingyi sneered. You were just making a bet and you called her over with a phone call. What kind of guest is she? Best actress? Yi Jingyi. How dare an entertainer come here? Just a phone call can move them. Who do you want to climb up to? Yi Jingyi's words were a little impolite. Yi, how can you say that? Yi, calm down. Master Gu is still here. If you disturb him, you'll be in trouble. The people next to Yi Jingyi immediately began to persuade her. Shisheng said slowly. No matter who I want to climb up the social ladder, I won't climb up to you. I don't like women. Everyone. Movie queen, your words really make people. Brother Zaynan look at her. A woman like her has slept with who knows how many men to climb up to the position of best actress. You still think of her as a goddess. She's not as good as you think. Miss Yi seems to be very familiar with the rules of the entertainment industry. It seems that you care a lot about this industry. I don't know which small star Miss Yi has taken a fancy to. Maybe I know and can set you up. What nonsense are you talking about? Yi Jingyi roared. Master Lin, quickly take Yi Zi out to calm down. The people next to Lin Zaynan pushed him. Apologize. Lin Zaynan's eyes were sharp. I didn't say anything wrong. Why should I apologize? Yi Jingyi glared back at him unconvinced. Look at what she just said. Yi Zi. There was another round of persuasion, but Yi Jingyi still refused to bow down. Lin Zaynan, you're a bastard. Yi Jingyi roared, pushed Shisheng and ran out of the room. The girls who had been persuading Yi Jingyi also ran out, leaving only the boys in the room. Miss Lan, I'm really sorry. Yi Zi is young and likes Master Lin, so she spoke without thinking. Please don't take it to heart. Lu Yiming apologized to Shisheng on behalf of Yi Jingyi. I'm sorry, goddess. Lin Zaynan also looked apologetic. Please don't be angry. Yi Jingyi is just spoiled. She doesn't have any bad intentions. Shisheng didn't say anything. Girls like her were everywhere. They came from rich families and were spoiled. Naturally, they were arrogant. As for whether she was spoiled or not, as long as she didn't have any bad intentions, she didn't care. Where's Guqi? Shisheng asked directly. She hadn't seen him since she came in. Lin Zaynan just remembered that the reason why the goddess agreed to come was because his boss was here. The scene was even weirder than just now. Lin Zaynan pushed the people who were blocking him away. Shisheng saw the boy sitting on the sofa with his head down playing with a tablet. The quarrel just now didn't affect him at all. Let's continue playing. Lin Zaynan gave Lu Yiming a wink. Lu Yiming looked at Shisheng curiously and said a few polite words to her. Then she continued playing with the other boys. Guqi's side was empty. Lin Zaynan brought Shisheng over. Boss, the goddess is here. Guqi was playing a game. Shisheng glanced at the screen. They were playing the same game. Lin Zaynan was in the middle, so Shisheng couldn't see his ID clearly. Lin Zaynan spoke for about 30 seconds before Guqi put down the tablet. He raised his head and looked at Lin Zaynan. The flashing lights flashed through his dark pupils. The bright colors didn't bring out any liveliness in his eyes. His lips moved. Who is it? His voice wasn't hoarse like the last time. It was a pleasant voice. Shisheng. Damn, is this retard forgetful? Lin Zaynan. Lin Zaynan lowered his head and whispered in his ear. Guqi nodded after a while and took away the tablet beside him. Sit. Lin Zaynan smiled and pushed Shisheng to Guqi's side. Goddess, please be considerate. My boss's reaction is really slow. Sometimes we have to wait for a while. You can't rush when talking to him. Shisheng looked at Guqi strangely. Guqi tilted his head. His face was expressionless. There were only flashing lights in his eyes. Lin Zaynan, come here. The person opposite him greeted. Goddess, you guys talk. Lin Zaynan winked at Shisheng and walked to the opposite side to be interrogated. Why did you paint my car? Shisheng was still very curious about this question. What did my car do to offend him? Shisheng counted silently in his heart. At 50 seconds, Guqi rolled his eyes. It's not pleasing to the eye. Shisheng. You win. Mr. Villain. You don't like I's car, and you paint it just like that. Chapter 486. Shisheng felt that there was something wrong with Guqi's answer. That car wasn't a limited edition. Although it wasn't common on the streets, it wasn't hard to find. Why did Guqi dislike it? And it was different from the way he behaved when Qianfeng wanted to touch her. This guy is weird. Hashtag my man is always changing his style. Hashtag other than his slow reaction. Guqi was fine. He would answer whatever you asked, but you had to wait for a while. And he didn't take the initiative to talk. Sheng didn't get much useful information when Lin Nan was ready to move to another place after the interrogation. The others left the room while Lin Nan waited for Gucci to get up. Gucci pulled Sheng, and Sheng looked at him. Let's go together. Lin Nan looked at Gucci in surprise, as if he was shocked by Gucci's behavior. Where are we going? Chen Yuan would definitely ground her if she knew that she was still hanging out at this late hour. Gucci's neck cracked when he turned. He paused for a while and said, the top of the mountain. Lin Nan added, we have a competition later. Boss is going too. Gucci nodded as if he agreed, then got up and left the room. Sheng was confused. What the hell? This villain. The rich second generation's nightlife was either in bed or looking for excitement. Drag racing was one of them. Sheng received a call from Chen Yuan when he left the club, asking him to go to a dinner party. I have a dinner party. I can't go with you guys. Sheng looked up at Lin Nan. Let's meet another day. Huh. Lin Nan was disappointed. Goddess is not going. Gucci stood a little further away with his head slightly tilted. He was surrounded by a few guys who were talking to him. Chen Yuan's call came like a rush. Sheng retracted his gaze. Okay, I'll go first. Help me tell Gucci. Okay, goddess. Be careful. Lin Nan waved his hand reluctantly. After Sheng left, Lin Nan slapped his forehead again and was annoyed. I forgot to take a photo with her again. Gucci saw Lin Nan coming over alone and frowned slightly. Her? The goddess said she had a dinner appointment, so she left first. Lin Nan scratched his head. Boss, you and the goddess. What's going on? Gucci walked to the car beside him, opened the door, got in and closed the door. Lin Nan shrugged at the others. He knew he didn't know the relationship between boss and the goddess. The others went to drive their own cars while Lin Nan got into Gucci's car as the driver. When she got into the car, she saw Gucci sending a text message. She glanced at it subconsciously, but the screen turned off before she could see it clearly. Gucci turned his head slowly. Let's go back. Go back? You're not going? Lin Nan was surprised. She was fine just a moment ago. Why didn't she go after a while? Gucci lowered his head and remained silent. Lin Nan took out his phone and called the person behind him, then drove Gucci back. The dinner party that Chen Yuan invited Sheng to attend was not an ordinary one. All the guests were big shots. However, this kind of dinner wasn't very clean. As a movie queen, she could avoid such things. After toasting with the others, she just had to sit down. Other artists were not so lucky. They were forced to drink and take advantage of. Sheng looked coldly at those artists who wanted to climb up the social ladder. They were pretending to be nice. Of course, there were also those who refused. Slap. Sheng looked up. It was probably a newcomer. She covered her face and sobbed softly. I gave you face but you don't want it. Who do you think you are? Why are you pretending to be virtuous? An investor sat beside the girl. He was looking at the girl with disdain. These newcomers all had dreams. They thought they could realize their dreams, but they didn't know how dirty this industry was. Those who struggled in this industry would either be trampled into the mud and become lowly, or take advantage of the situation to climb up the social ladder. Or they couldn't accept the rules of this industry. Their dreams would die prematurely, and they would regret it for life. There were very few people who could climb to the top with their own abilities. People in the industry said that the original owner relied on her own abilities. In fact, without the Lan family's help, she wouldn't be able to stand in this position. The original owner didn't understand, but Sheng was very clear about it. In the end, the girl was dragged away by the investor. Sheng shook his head. It would be better for Chen Yuan to reject such events in the future. It was too painful to watch. Miss Lan, I have a play to shoot recently. I wonder if Miss Lan is free? Originally, there was a girl sitting next to Sheng. While she was watching the show, a man had taken her place. He was average looking, but he looked wretched and lecherous from head to toe. Sheng glanced at him. Mr. Lee, you can contact my agent if you have a script. Miss Lan, this script is next year's big drama. Many people can't get it. Oh, my schedule is full too. Sheng stood up and said sarcastically. Since Mr. Li's script is so good, keep it for those who need it. He wanted to take advantage of her. Did he think that she was a newcomer? Or did he eat a bear's heart and leopard's guts? Miss Lan. Li Jie reached out and grabbed Shisheng. His face was dark. Although you have status now, you don't have a background. In this industry you can't do without a background. Shisheng felt that he was being held by a pervert. He picked up the drink next to him and splashed it at Li Jie. Lansheng. Li Jie was furious. He wiped his face. Believe it or not, I can make it impossible for you to get a script with one word. The commotion caused the entire room to quieten down as everyone turned to look at them. Li Jie was one of the wealthier people in this industry. He had a lot of connections, and was not someone to be offended. It was normal for him to say something mean when he took a fancy to a movie queen with no background. Shisheng took the opportunity to withdraw his hand. He looked at her with disdain. You want to take advantage of me? Go to Korea and get a makeover. Even if she didn't have the support of the Lan group, she wouldn't be afraid of this pervert. Shisheng's words were vicious. Li Jie was embarrassed to be despised for his looks in front of so many people. Lansheng, it wasn't easy for you to climb to this position. Do you want it to be ruined? I'll give you one last chance. Follow me and I'll make you famous. It's nighttime now. Don't daydream. Shisheng sneered. There are many people who want to make me famous. Why would I choose someone who looks bad and make things difficult for myself? Mr. Li, don't think that you're so great. In this industry you're just SOSO. Li Jie was so angry that he wanted to hit Shisheng. This woman was so shameless. Did she think that she was great just because she was a movie queen? Shisheng made the first move. He kicked Li Jie in the stomach and his body fell backward. He grabbed the edge of the table and pulled the table full of dishes in his direction. They all fell to the ground with a crash. Li Jie was drenched in soup and water. He was in a sorry state. Chapter 487. No one had expected this turn of events. She dared to hit him. Was she crazy? You. Shisheng bent down to pick up the wine bottle on the ground. He smiled, but there was no emotion in his eyes. Do you still want to sleep with me? His voice was clear, with a faint smile, but it was creepy. Li Jie panicked. What are you trying to do? I'm teaching you how to behave. Shisheng raised his hand and slammed the wine bottle down. The sound of the slap made everyone's heart tremble. He really slammed it down? Next time, it won't be as simple as teaching you how to behave. I'll send you to reincarnation. Shisheng threw the broken wine bottle on the ground. Li Jie was dizzy from the hit. He reached out to touch his numb head. It was warm and sticky. Blood. Li Jie rolled his eyes and fainted. Trash. Shisheng glanced at the people in the room. Most of them were still in shock from the sudden change. What happened to the gentle and dignified goddess? Where did this violent maniac come from? After Shisheng left the room, the people in the room went crazy and called 110. Guqi stood on the third floor, watching Shisheng leave the hall. A manager-like woman stood beside him, looking at Guqi respectfully and carefully. After a while he turned to look at the noisy room. Clean up the mess. Yes, young master. The woman walked towards the room immediately. Shisheng thought there would be news of the movie queen beating someone up for her to make the headlines. However, there was nothing. He was beaten into a retard and didn't even know how to publish the news. Chen Yuan probably heard the news from somewhere and came to her house. Shisheng, what happened last night? Did you beat up Li Jie? Chen Yuan went straight to the point. She left early last night because she had something to do. She was busy the whole night and didn't have time to rest. Then she heard the news early in the morning. The circle was not small, but it wasn't big either. A small matter like this would spread quickly in the circle. Yeah, I was wondering why there wasn't any news. Sister Chen, did you suppress the news? Chen Yuan was speechless. Had her artist gone crazy? She's still thinking about the news at this time. Who was Li Jie? She would definitely seek revenge for the smallest grievance. There was no way she could suppress this news. Now that there was no report, she didn't know what went wrong. What are you thinking? How dare you hit Li Jie? Chen Yuan felt like he was going crazy. He wanted to sleep with me with a lousy script, and he even threatened me. If I don't hit him, who should I hit? Shisheng rolled his eyes. Wasn't this kind of person asking for a beating? Chen Yuan took a deep breath. Shen, you've been acting weird ever since your role was stolen. What's wrong with you? She was provoked, Shisheng said casually. In this line of work, it's normal to feel stressed. I'll contact a psychiatrist for you. Chen Yuan was also worried that her artist had mental and psychological problems. Being an artist was far from being as glamorous as what the outside world thought. She was too immersed in her role and couldn't get out of it. She suffered from depression, overworked, and had a disordered lifestyle. Seeing that Chen Yuan was about to take out her phone to make a call, Shisheng walked over and snatched it away from her. Sister Chen, I'm not sick. I didn't say that you are sick. I just want to talk to a psychiatrist to relieve your stress. Although Chen Yuan explained, she was convinced that her artist was really sick. People who were sick often didn't think that they were sick. Shisheng tried his best to persuade her, but Chen Yuan finally gave up on the idea of taking her to a psychiatrist. I don't have any news about the news yet. I'll go back and ask who suppressed it. Have a good rest, and don't go out for the next few days. Take care, Sister Chen. Oh yes, Sister Chen, don't invite me to dinner parties like last night. It's boring. Chen Yuan was speechless. Did she know how many investors were there last night? Chen Yuan took a deep breath and glared at her in exasperation. Do you think you can still go there in the future? She had hit Li Jie. Even if the news had been suppressed, Li Jie would not be so easily dismissed. All she did was cause trouble for him. Finally, he had sent away a big Buddha. However, just as he left, a call from Lan Qing came in. Baby, are you okay? I'm fine. She had hit him. What could happen to her? Lan Qing heaved a sigh of relief. That's good. What's wrong with Li Jie? Oh, he wanted to sleep with me with a stupid script. Shisheng said honestly. What? Shisheng heard the sound of something being knocked over from the other side of the phone, followed by Lan Qing's angry voice. How dare Li Jie sleep with my sister Lan Qing? Baby, don't worry. I won't let you suffer for nothing. Shisheng was speechless. What do you mean by suffering? I'll call him back on the spot. Oh yes, baby. Do you know anyone from the Gu family? Lan Qing suddenly asked after scolding Li Jie. The Gu family? Gucci. Which Gu family? Lan Qing had been arranging people in the news agency. Her news was going to be published, but before Lan Qing could do it, it was stopped. The people who stopped her were the Gu family. Which other Gu family? Huanyu Corporation. Do you know anyone from the Gu family? I'm not sure. Is Gucci from the Gu family? According to the routine, that's most likely the case. Lan Qing seemed to be nervous and asked her not to get involved with the Gu family. Shisheng said perfunctorily and hung up the phone. Shisheng scratched his head and was confused. What's going on? She went to 606 to look for Gucci, but no one answered after knocking on the door for a long time. Gucci did not come back for the next few days. Shisheng had to join the crew of the first Imperial Concubine. The filming location was at the local film studio. The director used to shoot literary films. He had never shot such a fast food TV series before. This TV series was his transition. Literary film directors were usually fussy. Shisheng was asked to read all kinds of historical materials as soon as he joined the crew. From speech and behavior to basic necessities of life. Shisheng was stunned by the thick stack of materials. Is he here for a film or a history lesson? Sister Lan, is the director doing this on purpose? Xiao Fu and Xiao Bao were speechless. It's not a historical drama. Why is he so strict? It's all because I'm too handsome. Shisheng touched his face narcissistically. He must be jealous of me. Sister Lan can't be so narcissistic. Shisheng could explain how fussy the director was in one sentence. She wanted to terminate the contract immediately. If the costume was not right, he would complain. If the action was not right, he would complain. If the words were not right, he would complain. If the hairpin was not right, he would complain. If it was a historical drama, she would have nothing to say. After all, history was important. But this TV series was just a dummy. The background was just for show. I've told you before that unmarried girls in that era were not allowed to wear golden hairpins. You've all ignored my words. Director. Shisheng interrupted the chattering director. The director was talking enthusiastically when he suddenly heard Shisheng calling him. He frowned and stopped. You shouldn't change your career to a palace drama. You should teach history. Director. Shisheng removed the messy hair on his head. The flowers of our country need you. I've already bloomed, so I won't serve you anymore. My assistant will talk to you about the liquidated damages. See you later. Chapter 488. Shisheng went on strike and left brother Liang and sister Mei to deal with the breach of contract. She left the base with her 2 assistants. The news was soon released. Lan Sheng quits the role of the first imperial concubine. Hashtag the first imperial concubine starts shooting. The female lead quits. Hashtag the inside story of the movie Queen quits. Hashtag Chen Yuan just went to a meeting and found that the whole world had changed. She scrolled through Weibo with a pale face and read all kinds of speculations. Her artist is going to heaven. Chen Yuan called Shisheng. When Shisheng received the call, he was looking at the female lead. The crew of Proud Sun was also in this base. It was not a big base, so it was not strange for them to run into each other. The strange thing was that something bad would happen if they ran into the female lead. Here was what happened. The parking lot of the base was being expanded, so now they parked wherever they could find a spot. When Xiao's car happened to block an artist's own car, and the artist's car blocked Shisheng's car. Shisheng wanted to leave, so when Xiao's car had to move. But the artist in the middle did not speak well, so when Xiao refused to move and asked the artist to apologize. This artist was considered a famous C-list artist, so of course she was unhappy to be insulted by a newcomer who had not produced any works yet. The 2 parties started to quarrel. Shisheng, the innocent cannon fodder, was the one who was implicated. Sister Chen. Shisheng put the phone to his ear. Lan Sheng, get your ass back to the company. Chen Yuan roared. Now, right now, if I don't see you in an hour, you'll have to bear the consequences. Shisheng moved the phone further away and waited until the person on the phone stopped yelling. Sister Chen, I definitely won't be able to get back to the company in an hour. Chen Yuan choked and then roared even louder. Lan Sheng, don't talk nonsense, get your ass back here. Hey, Sister Chen, it's not that I don't want to get my ass back, but I can't get my ass back now. Someone blocked my car. And I don't have any superpower, so I can just let the car fly through the middle. Shisheng was like a dead pig that wasn't afraid of boiling water. No matter how much Chen Yuan roared on the other side, she replied calmly. Xiao Bao, who was standing at the side, could hear the deafening roar from the phone. His face twitched. Sister Chen was so scary when she was angry, yet Sister Lan still dared to tease her. What's going on? Chen Yuan tried to suppress his anger. Who dares to stop your car? Aren't you going to tickle her? Sister Chen, how could you say something like that? I'm not that kind of person. I wouldn't do something like that. Scratching people was unsightly and degrading. You beat up an investor and refused to perform. What else can't you do? Chen Yuan panted heavily. I'm not going to argue with you. Come back here right now. Chen Yuan quickly hung up the phone, and the busy tone came from the phone. Shisheng looked up at the sky. What was going on? What the hell? On the other side, Wen Xiao was still arguing with the C-list celebrity. Wen Xiao was not famous now, so she had nothing to lose. She wanted the C-list celebrity to apologize. Shisheng shook his head. This Wen Xiao really doesn't want to be taken advantage of. Shisheng opened the car door and got out. Xiao Bao, who was in the front passenger seat, immediately got out of the car. Sister Lan. The C-list celebrity greeted her respectfully. Sister Lan. Wen Xiao called out softly. Shisheng smiled at the C-list celebrity. I asked you to move the car. Are you talking about buying a car? The C-list celebrity lowered his head and apologized. I'm sorry, Sister Lan. It's not that I don't want to move, but she doesn't want me to. She was rude first. I'll move the car if she apologizes. Wen Xiao frowned, straightened her back and slightly raised her chin. I don't care what you have. Move the car now. Shisheng's tone suddenly became firm. Hearing Shisheng's tone, the C-list celebrity smiled at Wen Qiao proudly. Move the car quickly. Can you afford to delay Sister Lan's time? Wen Qiao's face was a little pale. After hesitating for a moment, she still let the driver move the car. Shisheng smiled at Wen Qiao and turned to get into the car. Wen Qiao held her bag tightly and watched Shisheng's car drive away. Shisheng's car was the best kind of car used by celebrities. It was much better than the car used by all the celebrities in her company. One day, I'll be in that position. I'll get back at all these people who once embarrassed me. Shisheng returned to the company and was reprimanded by Qin Yuan. He was also ordered to stay at home and not go anywhere. The public relations department started to deal with this matter. If this matter was not handled well, it would become a negative news. Hence, the public relations department was very nervous. Shisheng didn't care about how they handled it. He went home slowly. She lived in room 808. When she reached the 6th floor, she paused and got off the elevator. The door of room 606 was open. Shisheng was slightly surprised. He saw a person coming out of the room. Shisheng had never seen him before. He was dressed sloppily and his hair was dyed messy. At first glance, he knew he was not a decent person. He was stunned when he saw Shisheng. Then he bypassed him and left. What's going on? What kind of weirdos are around Gucci? Goddess, why are you standing at the door? Lin Zainan came out to close the door. He was surprised and excited when he saw Shisheng. Come in, come in. Shisheng didn't stand on ceremony and stepped into the door directly. The house was obviously redecorated. It looked brand new. Lin Zainan didn't let Shisheng change his shoes. He led him inside, poured water and took fruits and snacks. Shisheng looked around but didn't see Gucci. Where's Gucci? Lin Zainan pointed to the room. Boss is taking a shower. Taking a shower in broad daylight? Boss just woke up. Lin Zainan was helpless. If I didn't come, he would probably sleep for a whole day. Hey goddess, what's your relationship with boss? Lin Zainan was curious. It was definitely unrealistic to ask Gucci. He wouldn't tell him anything. He had no idea when Gucci got to know his goddess. Yet, the two of them acted like they were very close. This doesn't make sense. He spent most of his time with Gucci. He didn't know. Nothing. Nothing at the moment. Gotcha. Gucci's figure appeared at the door. His hair was still dripping water. His hair stuck to his cheeks and the water droplets dripped into his clothes. His eyes were cold. There was no smile on his face. His whole body emitted a sense of alienation that kept people away. He didn't seem to be surprised to see Shisheng. His gaze paused on her for a few seconds and moved away naturally. He went straight into the kitchen. When he came out, he had a bottle of milk in his hand. Gotcha! The glass bottle of milk collided with the glass coffee table, making a crisp sound. He stood in front of Shisheng. He lowered his eyelashes slightly and said with a bit of bitterness, "It's all natural." Shisheng raised her head and looked at him. Gucci and she looked at each other. At that glance, Shisheng felt like she was looking into a starry universe. Mysterious, deep, and boundless. Chapter 489. Gucci took the lead to look away, turned around and sat at the side. He took the towel from Lin Zainan and slowly dried his hair. His movements were very slow, as if someone had pressed the slow motion button. Shisheng really did not understand what Gucci was up to. He took a sip from the bottle. The milk taste was much stronger than the others. "Boss, there's a meeting tonight. Do you want to go?" Lin Zainan took the opportunity to answer a call and asked Gucci after he was almost done. Gucci looked at Shisheng. Lin Zainan immediately understood. "Goddess, there's a car race tonight. Do you want to go?" The goddess did not go the last time, but this time she must go. "Oh sure." Shisheng responded. She couldn't understand Gucci at all. Lin Zainan was obviously very happy, chatting with the person on the other side of the phone. Only Gucci and Shisheng were left in the living room. For the first time, Shisheng found himself speechless. Gucci put down the towel and looked at the milk that Shisheng only drank a sip. He frowned slightly. "Doesn't taste good?" "It's okay, I don't like milk." She did not like milk very much. She remembered there was a dimension where Feng Xiai especially liked to drink milk. He even forced her to drink it. If she did not want to drink, he would feed her with his mouth. Guqi was silent, and asked after a while, "What do you like to drink?" "Coffee, alcohol, anything is fine." She actually did not like anything in particular. Guqi breathed very lightly and said slowly, "It's not good for girls to drink." Shisheng was speechless. "I always feel that Guqi is flirting with me. Is it an illusion?" Guqi did not speak anymore. He sat there and played with his tablet. His whole body sank into the sofa and curled into a ball. A big man curled into a ball. It was especially cute. "What are you playing?" Shisheng felt that if he did not speak, Guqi would not speak. Guqi looked up slightly. The background music of the character's death was playing on the tablet. He frowned slightly and waved at her. Shisheng got up and walked to him. He moved to the side and made space for Shisheng. "Sit." Shisheng sat down without any psychological pressure. Guqi seemed to be satisfied. He turned his head and moved the tablet in front of Shisheng. This mobile game was called Killing World. It was the most popular mobile game recently. The character level was now updated to 100. Shir was only level 95, but Gu's level. Guqi's character's name. He probably did not spend any money. Shisheng looked at Guqi's game silently. "So, I'm here to accompany him? What's going on?" Shisheng took out her phone to check. There were a few messages, 2 of which were from Liang Ji, telling her that the termination contract had been signed. The others zzzzzz, they's Guqi's, he's guzzzz. Guzchi gu, he's gu he's, say, to he put down the tablet, got up, and walked to his room. Shisheng was speechless. What's wrong with him? Lin Zainan had gone out to order takeout, and came back with bags of food. "Goddess, I'm sorry about that. Boss doesn't like to eat out, so he usually buys it back." Lin Zainan explained to Shisheng while opening the boxes. "I don't know what my goddess likes to eat, so I just bought some. I hope you like it." Lin Zainan cupped his heart and looked at Shisheng pitifully. "I don't particularly dislike it." Shisheng took the chopsticks from Lin Zainan. "Where's boss?" Lin Zainan just remembered his boss. Shisheng pointed to the room. Lin Zainan knocked on the door, but there was no response. Lin Zainan stood at the door for more than a minute, then the door was opened. "Boss, let's eat." Guqi frowned. He saw Shisheng sitting in the dining room, hesitated for a moment, then walked over. Lin Zainan, like a butler, pulled out the stool for him and set the table. After he sat down, Shisheng moved closer to him and asked in a small voice, "Do you usually serve him like this too?" "Yeah." Lin Zainan nodded. "What's your relationship with him? Why do you serve him like this?" Guqi looked like he came from a rich family. At his age, he should be proud and arrogant. How could he serve Guqi like this? "Boss, give me money." Shisheng was speechless. "I'm surprised by your answer." She thought Lin Zainan would say something about brotherly love, but it turned out to be measured by money. Lin Zainan laughed. "I grew up with boss. Goddess, I'll tell you about this later." Lin Zainan couldn't say anything as Guqi was sitting opposite him. Guqi was eating quietly. He didn't seem to notice Shisheng and Lin Zainan's actions. He ate slowly, but he ate very little, and he was picky. However, Lin Zainan had an expression that said, "Boss ate so much today. Is it going to rain gold?" Guqi went into the room after he finished eating. Lin Zainan complained to Shisheng while cleaning up. "Boss used to only eat half a bowl. I even suspected that he became a demon." Shisheng decided to check up on Guqi when he got back. What a weirdo. At night, Shisheng was brought to the top of a mountain. A group of people occupied the parking lot at the top of the mountain. The roar of motorcycles was endless. Some of them were the gangsters she saw for the first time, and some of them were the ones she saw at the club last time. The girl named Yi Jingyi was also there. She wore a sexy miniskirt and leaned on a modified motorbike. Her eyes lit up when she saw Lin Zainan. But when she saw Shisheng and Lin Zainan getting off the car, her expression immediately became twisted. She ran over in her high heels and questioned loudly, "Brother Zainan, why did you bring her here again?" Lin Zainan obviously didn't like Yi Jingyi. When he faced her, his expression was especially cold. Boss invited the goddess here. Yi Jingyi, watch your words. If you make boss unhappy, you'll bear the consequences. Yi Jingyi was obviously afraid of Guqi. Her face with heavy makeup didn't change much under the flickering light, but there was an obvious trace of fear in her eyes. She glanced at the car behind Shisheng, bit her lips, snorted heavily, and returned to her previous position in her high heels. The surrounding discussions were blown away by the mountain wind. A few words like Master Gu, movie queen, and relationship could be vaguely heard. Goddess, don't be calculative with this little girl. She's not sensible. Lin Zainan apologized to Shisheng. Shisheng didn't say anything. Guqi got off the car slowly at this moment. He was wearing a black hoodie, black pants, and black sneakers as usual. He almost blended into the night. When the gangsters opposite saw Guqi coming down, they immediately stopped their discussion and stood properly, as if they were underlings waiting to be inspected. The other playboys stood casually, but they also stopped talking and looked at Guqi. Guqi tilted his head and looked at Shisheng. Suddenly, he reached out and held her hand. Guqi's fingertips were cold, like a piece of ice on her wrist. He didn't use much strength and was testing her carefully. When he saw that Shisheng didn't struggle, he held her hand. Shisheng looked at him strangely, and let Guqi lead her to a chair not far away. Chapter 490. Master Gu really likes Lan Sheng? That goes without saying. Have you ever seen Master Gu so close to a woman? Not to mention taking the initiative to hold her hand. Hey, that Qianfeng's woman last time. Sure. Do you want to die? That woman threw herself at him. Yi Jingyi listened to the discussion behind her. Her face was wrinkled, and she stared at Shisheng angrily. What's so good about this woman? Brother Zainan calls her a goddess, and even Master Gu is so protective of her. Little Yi. A girl beside her patted her. Are you still angry? Yi Jingyi scratched her fingernails, her eyes were red and said angrily, Why? She's just an actress. Little Yi. The girl sighed. It's hard to say when it comes to love. It can't be helped that Master Lin doesn't like her. Moreover, Master Lin doesn't seem to like Lan Sheng that much. Since Lan Sheng and Master Gu are close, Master Lin wouldn't dare to have any thoughts about Lan Sheng. She understood this, but Yi Jingyi didn't. Perhaps she understood, but she didn't want to admit it. Vroom vroom vroom. A roar was heard from the mountain road. More than 10 modified motorcycles rushed up at high speed. The flashing lights created a dazzling light. The group of people circled around Guqi's group a few times, and stopped at the opposite side. They were clearly in different camps. They wore the same uniform, looking a bit like professional racers. Their motorcycles were also different from Guqi's. Apart from the different colors, they were obviously of the same brand and model. The people on the other side whistled loudly. One of them got out of the car and strode over to them. Lin Zainan had already walked over. The two of them talked for a while, then the man walked back. Lin Zainan picked 4 people and asked them to get on the car. The bet will be as agreed before. Be careful. These rich second generations always had bets when they raced. The people opposite them were not professional racers. They were just a few rich second generations. They were not from Guqi's circle. They just dressed up for the sake of looking good. They had a conflict before, and the solution was to race. The literal meaning of racing at the slightest disagreement was very clear. The rules were simple. Both sides would send 4 people to start from the top of the mountain and come up from the bottom of the mountain. Whoever arrived first would win. Guqi didn't seem to be interested in this. He lowered his head and stared at the ground. Boss. Lin Zainan passed a tablet to Guqi. Guqi took it and passed it to the Shisheng beside him. Shisheng was speechless. Was this the time to play games? Live broadcast. Guqi uttered 2 words slowly. Shisheng turned on the tablet. There were several scenes on it, all taken from the air. Shisheng silently praised this group of rich second-generation heirs. This was quite a fun game. It was even being broadcasted live. Shisheng didn't like car racing. She preferred swordsmanship. It was more in line with her style to use her sword at the slightest disagreement. The cars in the video chased each other, and some even rammed into the cars despite the danger. Fortunately, there was no danger in the end. They reached the top of the mountain safely, and the winner was the other side. After the cheers, there were curses. The man from before raised his hand to signal for them to quiet down. He walked towards Gucci. The man was at least 1.8 meters tall. All the light was blocked by him when he stood in front of Gucci. The man glanced at Shisheng casually. He didn't seem to be interested in who she was at all. He looked down at Gucci condescendingly. Gucci, let's have a match. Feng Xian, are you looking for trouble? Lin Zainan came from behind and stared at Feng Xian with a bad look. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Feng Xian exercised his fist and laughed frivolously. Suddenly he swung his fist and hit Lin Zainan's face. Lin Zainan staggered after being hit. The people behind him immediately cursed and started to fight with each other. I'm talking to Gucci. Why are you interrupting? Since you've chosen to be Gucci's dog, you should do what a dog should do, Feng Xian said crudely. His tone was full of disdain towards Lin Zainan. Feng Xian, what the hell are you talking about? Lin Zainan wanted to punch Feng Xian, but was stopped by Gucci. Shisheng felt wind blowing past her ears. Her vision turned dark as something covered her head. Shisheng wanted to pull it down, but was held down by someone. Don't look, it'll be over in a while. Gucci, you've learned how to be gentle with women? This woman is Lan Sheng from the entertainment industry, right? I didn't expect you to like this kind of woman. Feng Xian's voice stopped abruptly. Shisheng could only hear the sound of fists hitting the body, as well as a muffled groan from the pain. It didn't last long, only about 5 to 6 minutes. All the noise disappeared at the same time. It was as if she suddenly entered an empty space. Shisheng lifted the thing that covered her and looked in front of her, but it was dark in front of her. She looked up and saw Gucci standing in front of her. Gucci turned around and bent down slightly to look at Shisheng. I'll send you back. Shisheng stared at him for a few seconds. The villain this time is awesome. Shisheng only saw what happened to those people when she got into the car. Almost all of them were lying on the ground. The car window rolled up slowly. Shisheng saw the man named Feng Xian looking at her with a gloomy expression. Yes, he was looking at her. Not at Gucci. Shisheng felt that she was going to be implicated. It was quiet on the way back. Gucci sent Shisheng all the way to the door. Good night. Gucci rubbed Shisheng's head. Call me if you need anything. He seemed to have thought of something. He took out his phone and pressed a few buttons on the interface. Shisheng's phone immediately rang happily. Shisheng took out her phone and saw an unfamiliar number. She looked up at Gucci. Why do you have my phone number? She didn't seem to have told him before. Gucci didn't say anything. He just looked at her. The light of the passage floated in his eyes, but there was only her figure in his pupils. Just when Shisheng thought he wouldn't answer, he said slowly, I can know if I want to know. Shisheng was a little confused. Domineering CEO style? Oh my god, isn't this the female lead standard? Have I leveled up now? Even the title of domineering CEO is given. Shisheng went in with a confused look. Gucci turned around and left after she closed the door. Back downstairs, Gucci turned off his phone habitually, but he frowned and turned it on again in the next second. The phone battery was too low. He looked for the charger in the living room, but couldn't find it. Gucci opened the phone book. There were 2 phone numbers in it. One of them was Lin Zainan, and the other was Lan Sheng. The only contact was Lan Sheng. Gucci called Lin Zainan to ask where the charger was. Lin Zainan thought he had picked up the wrong number. He looked at the phone several times to confirm that it was his boss. Gucci never did this kind of thing. Lin Zainan was always the one who charged the phone. How could he not be surprised to receive a call from Gucci asking where the charger was? Please vote. It's Monday. A new week has begun. Please vote T to the power of T. Chapter 491. After the movie Queen refused to act, there was news of her hanging out with a group of gangsters in the middle of the night. Then, all kinds of negative news came one after another. #movie Queen and gangsters in the middle of the night ##Lan Sheng by Chi #Lan Sheng. and a mysterious man in and out of a hotel, suspected of being a mistress. Hashtag launching theater changed the movie without permission to suppress newcomers. Hashtag every one of them was a hot search. Lan Sheng's name was like a virus that swept across the internet. Sheng clicked on the news with interest. The picture of her in the middle of the night was very blurry. She was afraid to take it when she got out of the car, and took a picture of some gangsters beside her. The picture of her with the mysterious man in and out of the hotel was of her and Lan Qing going to Yihong restaurant for dinner, and entering the hotel when they were filming in D-City. Lan Qing's face was pixelated. She was the only one in the picture. Because she was holding Lan Qing's arm and the angle of the picture, it looked very ambiguous. She changed the movie without permission when she was filming Proud Sunday. As for bullying newcomers, it was when Xiao. She admitted that she changed the movie without permission to annoy the scriptwriter. But bullying newcomers, Sheng logged into Weibo and posted a few posts in a row. Lan Sheng. Lan Qing, Your Highness, when will I be promoted to Crown Princess? Lan Sheng. Is it my fault for acting so good? The scriptwriter is willing to let me change the movie. If you don't like it, please look for the scriptwriter. Sheng didn't reply. As soon as the 2 Weibo posts were posted, they were immediately flooded with comments. White, front row. Stupid idiot. Who is the person mentioned by the goddess? His surname is Lan too? Lan Sheng is an idiot. Lan Sheng you be *tch, you're disgusting. The truth is me. Looking at the person mentioned by the goddess, he is the CEO of Yutong Group. Seems like I found out a big secret. Thin blue mushroom. I saw it. So handsome. The CEO's surname is Lan too. Is he a relative of the goddess? So handsome, he must be her brother. Even if he isn't her brother, he must be her cousin. If not, he must be her cousin. Lan Xing goddess love you. Goddess supports you. Boss is a ghost. All kinds of comments instantly. Those who saw Lan Qing's page combined the names and faces of the two, as well as the clothes of the mysterious man in the picture, immediately posted a long post to analyze their identities. The first to respond to Sheng was Lan Qing. Lan Qing, v Lan Shen v. Your Royal Highness, why don't you directly become a queen? I will help your Royal Highness clear the obstacles. With this reply, the netizens immediately blew up. Was there even a need to say it? The Crown Prince and the Princess were definitely siblings. Not only were the fans in an uproar, even the entertainment industry was in an uproar. Some people guessed that Lan Sheng had a backer, but they never thought that it was the Yutong Group. She was not a mistress. She was the young mistress of Yutong Group. What's the point of being an actress instead of being a rich missy? This piece of news was easily broken, and the anti-fans moved on to the other 2 pieces of news. The news about the car race was quickly taken down. The platform that published the news issued a statement saying that the news was fake. They had published it without checking and were very sorry about it. However, it was revealed that Lan Sheng was the eldest daughter of Yutong. The sudden removal of the news seemed suspicious, and the netizens began to dig deeper. Needless to say, they actually managed to dig it out. At that time, there were so many people present. There were bound to be some who were excited to see the celebrity and secretly took photos. When they received a call from Lindsay Nan asking them to remove the news, it was already too late. They had already taken those photos out to show off last night. They did not know how many times it had been shared. In the end, it was spread to the public. In this way, no doubt the news that was removed was true. A public figure racing in the middle of the night. This kind of news had a bad influence on the artist. Sheng browsed the web and looked at the people's conversations. It was quite interesting. These people's imagination was simply invincible. It had been almost 4 hours since the incident started, but Chen Yuan had not called. Sheng looked at his phone suspiciously. Wasn't Chen Yuan the first person to call when something happened? Bang bang bang. Someone suddenly knocked on the door with a hand. Sheng went to open the door. Chen Yuan was standing outside with a dark face. When she saw her, her face became even darker. She did not call, but came directly to the house. Lan Sheng. Chen Yuan squeezed her name out from between her teeth. Sister Chen. Sheng let Chen Yuan in with an open face. You're capable now? The incident about the performance boycott has not been settled yet, and you've created so much trouble for me? Lan Sheng, what are you trying to do? Are you still going to walk down this path? It's not my fault, Shi Sheng said innocently. She was not the one who had posted these things. Chen Yuan took a deep breath and tried to suppress her anger. Sheng, I've made an appointment with you. I'll go with you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. You don't have to worry about the news. The company will handle it. Shi Sheng. I'm not sick. As her manager, Chen Yuan naturally knew that Lan Qing was her artist's brother. Other than the late-night racing incident, there were no other problems. The scriptwriter of Proud Son was Ai Weiqi. He was famous for being picky. If he agreed to change the script, he must have approved of the changes. Suppressing a newcomer would be more difficult if the newcomer was a little famous. However, the newcomer was just a newcomer. She would not care about it for a few days. However, her artist had created so much trouble in such a short period of time. Her personality had also become so strange. Chen Yuan could not help but suspect that her artist was sick. If she really had some kind of mental illness, her artist's life would be ruined. You're not allowed to interfere in this matter anymore. Do you hear me? Chen Yuan reminded her again and again. Okay. She could interfere even if she did not want to. Wait for me to pick you up tomorrow. Chen Yuan thought for a while. Forget it. I'll sleep here tonight. Shi Sheng. Shi Sheng was chased into the room by Chen Yuan. She started to make calls in the living room. Shi Sheng looked at the ceiling speechlessly. She really was not sick. Shi Sheng received a call from Lan Qing. Lan Qing told her not to worry, and that he would help her deal with it. Lan Qing had called her once before. She guessed that he would call her again when he was free. Thank you, brother. Shi Sheng thanked him. Oh, you've learned how to be polite. That's rare. Lan Qing joked. His tone was very relaxed. Your Highness, you should continue with your work. Lan Qing said gently, okay. Don't look at the news online. Wait for me to deal with it for you. Okay. It's so good to have a brother. After hanging up, Lan Qing's phone vibrated again. Shi Sheng looked at the name on the screen. He raised his eyebrows and swiped the answer button. The phone was very quiet. After a long while, a clear voice sounded from the other end. I'm outside your house. Asterisk Chen Yuan. I want to change artists. Shi Sheng, what's wrong with me? Isn't it good to be in the headlines every day? Chen Yuan. I just want you to be a quiet goddess. Little fairy. I can be a psycho but not a goddess. Shi Sheng. Drawing sword. Do you still want the votes or not? Little fairy. Yes, goddess, I was wrong. Chapter 492. What? Outside the door? Shi Sheng was dumbfounded. This guy doesn't play by the rules. I better find a way to confirm if he's Feng Ci. Shi Sheng asked him to wait for a while, and went out of the door. Chen Yuan used the living room as a temporary office space. Seeing Shi Sheng coming out, her eyes were like X-ray. What are you doing out here? My friend is outside. Shi Sheng pointed at the door. Chen Yuan frowned slightly. She had been her manager for so many years, but she didn't seem to have any good friends. At this time, could it be a man? God. My artiste is in a relationship? While Chen Yuan was thinking, Shi Sheng had already opened the door. Gucci stood outside quietly. He didn't move even when the door was opened. After a few seconds, he slowly raised his head and passed the box to Shi Sheng. I just bought it. Shi Sheng recognized the box. It was from the restaurant where Lin Zainan bought it last time. Come in first. Shi Sheng stepped aside. Gucci took a look inside and saw a woman staring at him. He knew this woman, Lan Sheng's manager. Gucci nodded slightly at Chen Yuan, entered the room and closed the door. His movements were smooth and natural, as if he had done it countless times. Chen Yuan's heart collapsed at the moment. Can someone tell me who this man is? What did my artiste do behind my back? Shen Sheng, come here. Chen Yuan waved at Shi Sheng. Shi Sheng put the lunchbox on the table, poured a glass of water for Gucci and asked him to sit down. Then he walked to Chen Yuan. Sister Chen? Chen Yuan pulled her to the corner. Who is that man? Is he someone you like? Or someone you like. No matter who it is. How can you let him come to your house? What if the reporters take photos? You haven't solved the news yet. Chen Yuan rattled out a bunch of questions. Shisheng had a headache. It's troublesome to meet a responsible manager. She sighed. Sister Chen, do you know Huanyu Corporation? Chen Yuan didn't understand why Shisheng changed the topic to Huanyu Corporation, but she still nodded. Multinational corporation. Who doesn't know? Don't change the topic. You haven't answered my question. Who is he? What does it have to do with you? His name is Gu Qi, the youngest young master of Huanyu Corporation, Shisheng said slowly. What youngest young master? You. Chen Yuan's voice came to an abrupt stop. Then he suddenly raised his voice. Huanyu Corporation. Chen Yuan covered his mouth and looked to the side in shock. She was very loud just now, but Gu Qi didn't move at all. This was the young master of the Gu family? The entertainment industry was closely related to the rich and powerful. Everyone in the entertainment industry had heard of how much the Gu family treasured this young master. Chen Yuan swallowed with difficulty. Shinshin, where did you find such a powerful backer? Being chosen by the young master of the Gu family was like getting a golden ticket to avoid death. Downstairs? He lives in room 606. The young master of the Gu family lives in this apartment? Chen Yuan felt that she must not have woken up today. This kind of rich man who can spend millions of dollars in minutes actually lives in this kind of place? Of course, it's not that this apartment is bad. A unit here costs 4 to 5 million. But it's totally incomparable to those that cost millions of dollars. You go over first. Chen Yuan held onto the wall. No, she had to calm down. She couldn't digest this news. Sure enough, people don't have a good appetite when they get older. Shisheng looked at Chen Yuan sympathetically. The identity of the villain was naturally high and mighty. Otherwise, how could she challenge the male and female protagonists and get slapped in the face? Shisheng walked over, pulled out the chair at the dining table and sat beside Gu Qi. How did you know I didn't eat? There were too many reporters waiting for her. She didn't dare to go out. The security downstairs had to work overtime at the last minute. The takeout she ordered was blocked at the door. Gu Qi didn't answer. He opened the lunchbox and took out the food one by one. 3 dishes and a soup, 2 meat dishes and 1 vegetable dish. The aroma suddenly filled the entire room. Shisheng noticed that these dishes were the ones she ate a few mouthfuls of the other day. Shisheng felt that he was being flirted with. Compared to Feng Xiai, it was even better. The bottom layer was rice. It was served in a delicate bowl with 2 matching bowls and chopsticks beside it. Gu Qi scooped a bowl of soup for Shisheng and pushed it in front of her. Drink the soup to warm your stomach first. Shisheng was indeed hungry. She ate an apple just now, but the more she ate, the hungrier she got. Have you eaten? Shisheng didn't hold back and drank a few mouthfuls of the soup. No. Gu Qi waited for her to finish the soup before answering. Shisheng scooped the rice from the bowl she used to drink the soup, then scooped another bowl for Gu Qi. Then let's eat together. I can't finish so much anyway. After a pause, Shisheng turned to look at Chen Yuan, who was still digesting her food by the wall. Sister Chen, have you eaten? Yes, you can eat with Master Gu. Chen Yuan bought some food on the way here. Although she wanted to eat after smelling the aroma, she didn't dare to go over because the young master of the Gu family was sitting there. Chen Yuan packed her things and sneaked into the study room. She had to calm down. Gu Qi seemed to be satisfied with Chen Yuan's behavior. The corner of his mouth lifted slightly, but it was so short that Shisheng didn't see it at all. Gu Qi ate without saying a word. The whole process was so quiet that it was like a solemn ceremony. He put down the bowl before Shisheng, waited for Shisheng to finish the food, then put the food into the box one by one. Feng Xiai didn't talk much. He used his actions most of the time. Therefore, Shisheng didn't feel awkward and watched Gu Qi pack up. He was very serious when he was doing things. His gaze never wavered. Gu Qi. Gu Qi put everything into the box, then turned to look at her. What's wrong? Shisheng leaned on the table and looked up at him with a smile. Do you like me? Gu Qi's long eyelashes fluttered slightly, brushing a small fan-shaped shadow on his fair skin. His gaze met with Shisheng's without any avoidance. Like? His eyes flashed with some doubts. What is like? Shisheng was speechless. What kind of joke is this? If you don't like me, why are you flirting with me? No, Feng Ci actually doesn't like I? Host, you haven't confirmed if this is Feng Ci. Based on your personality, how can it be wrong? Which one of the previous hidden missions wasn't Feng Ci? She now suspected that the few worlds before and after Feng Ci were all Feng Ci's. Master, it's time for us to level up. The host has already figured out your tricks. Asterisk System Master. It's useless to level up. If you level up, she can also level up. It's tiring to meet such a player. Let me be alone. Shisheng. I like what you said. System. I don't like what you said at all. The host is so awesome, I don't have any status at all. System Master. Thanks for your hard work, comrade. Hashtag today's taro-flavored ticket hashtag. Chapter 493. Then why are you so nice to me? Shisheng asked in another way. Gucci fixed his eyes on her. Shisheng's head was aching, he pushed the things on the table aside and sat down. I don't know. I just want to be nice to you. Gucci was still confused. He used to pay attention to Lan Sheng, but at that time he didn't have the feelings he had now. He wanted to give her the best things in the world. At that time, he only thought that the woman on the screen was beautiful when she smiled. As if she could add some color to his boring life. But that was it. Is this what it means to like someone? Is it liking someone because he wants to be nice to her? He understood that he was different when he was young. His family was very happy. Well, that was the word they used to describe it. But he couldn't feel the happiness they mentioned, and couldn't understand their feelings. His world seemed to be gray and ruined, and would collapse at any time. Yes. Shisheng nodded with a smile. Gucci looked at her blankly. He took a step back and took the box on the table in a panic. Have a good rest. I'll help you with other things. Looking at Gucci's escaping figure, Shisheng was speechless. She wouldn't eat him up. Gucci said he would help her. The next day, the crew released a statement that the racing photos were stills. Chen Yuan also received a call from the crew, asking Shisheng to act as the second female lead. She was a rich young lady who liked to race for thrills. The role was very likable, and it could cover the news. Chen Yuan agreed immediately and brought Shisheng to sign the contract on the same day. Shisheng was very obedient throughout the whole process. Just when she thought she could escape, Chen Yuan drove the car to the so-called psychology clinic. Sister Chen, I'm really not sick. Shisheng grabbed the seatbelt, unwilling to get off the car. Sheng, I didn't say you're sick. We're just relieving some stress. Look at you. You're so tired from work. Chen Yuan persuaded kindly. No. Shisheng shook her head. I'm not sick. Why do I need to see a psychologist? Chen Yuan refused to give up. Sheng, let's go up for a cup of tea and chat. Did he fall sick while chatting? I'm not going. I'm not sick. Chen Yuan got out of the car and tried to pull the Shisheng out of the car. However, the Shisheng did not budge at all, as if it was born on the driver's seat. Chen Yuan. Her artist was seriously ill. Sister Chen, what if I enter this place and get photographed by the reporters? Look, I'm on the headlines every day now. Do you want me to be on the headlines blah blah blah? Shisheng rambled on for nearly 10 minutes. In the end, Chen Yuan gave up on bringing Shisheng in. Bang! Chen Yuan closed the door and went around the front of the car. Shisheng heaved a heavy sigh of relief. Finally, he managed to fool her. The car started slowly and left the parking lot. Just as the car was about to leave the parking lot, Shisheng saw a familiar figure slowly entering the building that Chen Yuan had just pointed out. Stop the car, Sister Chen. Shisheng reached out and shook Chen Yuan's arm. What's wrong? She was so startled that it scared him to death. I think there's something wrong with me. I want to go and have a look, Shisheng blurted out. Chen Yuan. Sure enough, she was seriously ill. Give me your name card. I'll go up myself, Shisheng said to Chen Yuan while disguising herself. I'll go with you. Chen Yuan was worried. Shisheng glared at her. Then I'm not going. Chen Yuan had no choice but to give her her name card. Sheng took the name card and got out of the car, running towards the building hurriedly. She vaguely heard Chen Yuan shouting something behind her, but she walked too fast to hear clearly. There was a clear sign in the elevator. The psychological consultation was on the 18th floor. However, Sheng was not here to see a psychologist, so she found a seat in the lobby and sat down. The people in the lobby saw Sheng's tight dressing and looked at her curiously. Gu Qi came out of the elevator not long after, but he was followed by a middle-aged man. Sheng did not dare to follow them. Sheng only went out slowly after the two disappeared at the door. She followed them but found nothing. When she reached the door, the middle-aged man happened to come back. Sheng rolled her eyes and followed the middle-aged man into the elevator. The middle-aged man was talking on the phone and did not notice Sheng. He went down from the 18th floor. Sheng heard someone calling him Dr. Wei. The 18th floor was the psychological consultation company. Dr. Wei. Sheng looked at the name card in her hand. It was Dr. Wei. After talking with Gu Qi that day, she felt that there was something wrong with Gu Qi, but she did not expect it to be a psychological problem. Sheng went downstairs with a heavy heart. She saw Gu Qi standing outside the building as soon as she walked out. Sheng. Didn't he leave? Gu Qi put his hands in his pockets and looked at her quietly. The light reflected from the ear stud on his ear was dazzling to Sheng's eyes. She was slightly distracted, but Gu Qi was already standing in front of her. He held her hand naturally and walked towards the parking lot. Sheng was confused until she got into the car. She felt that this world was poisonous. Are you following me? Gu Qi sat in the driver's seat, his slender fingers on the steering wheel, tilting his head and looking at Sheng. No. Sheng shook her head. She just happened to see it. Gu Qi was silent for a moment. Suddenly, he leaned sideways and Sheng leaned back subconsciously. Gu Qi glanced at her. Sheng held her breath. Why did she feel that he was going to kill her? Gu Qi looked at her and helped her fasten her seatbelt. Go home. Or do you want to go somewhere else? Go home. Gu Qi did not speak during the journey. He drove quietly until they entered the parking lot of the apartment. Gu Qi's voice sounded slowly. If you want to follow me in the future, give me a call. Sheng. Gu Qi stopped the car and turned off the engine. The car was silent. Sheng did not know how long had passed. She heard Gu Qi's voice beside her ear. I can take you anywhere. The translation of this sentence was, I have no secrets from you. Sheng felt her heart beating a little fast, and she was a little out of breath. She was flirted with again and again. She suddenly leaned over and kissed Gu Qi when he was unprepared. There was a kind of resonance from the soul, throbbing. Although it was very weak, she could feel that the person beside her was Feng Xi. Gu Qi looked at her blankly. It was as if there were gorgeous fireworks exploding in his mind. His body stiffened and he didn't move an inch until Sheng let go of him happily. You. Gu Qi's ears were a little hot. What's wrong? Sheng was the kind of person who would take advantage of others. Gu Qi moved his lower lip. Her breath and warmth seemed to be left on it. Gu Qi was silent for a while. He helped Sheng to unfasten her seatbelt, opened the car door and got off. He went to her side and opened the car door for her. He sent Sheng to the door. His ears were still red. What do you want to eat? I'll buy it for you. No need. It's too troublesome to go out to buy now. Let's order takeout. Do you want to come in? Gu Qi hesitated. Sheng stood at the door and waited for him to make a decision. Finally, Gu Qi nodded and entered the door. He wanted to spend more time with her. Just him and her. Even if they did nothing, just being in the same space he felt good. Chapter 494. The movie that Sheng accepted was called Dimension Dream Guy. It was more sci-fi. In fact, it was a romance in sci-fi skin. The male lead was an intergalactic police officer. When he was chasing a fugitive, he had a fight with the fugitive. Both of them fell into a backward world. The male lead was injured and had insufficient energy. He was saved by the female lead. Both of them had a bond. The second female lead was the female lead's friend. She was the kind of best friend. If you have something to say, I'll do it for you. If I can't do it, I'll find someone else to do it for you. When Sheng arrived at the set, the movie had already started shooting. There was already a second female lead. Gucci used some method to replace her. Sheng liked this character very much. She was acting cool all the time. She was the female lead's portable cheat. However, during the shooting of the racing scenes, Sheng had a few NGs. Later on, he got the feeling and it was over quickly. The filming of the movie was not long. It only took 2 months from start to finish. When Sheng left the set, the news about her had already calmed down. Ever since Gucci helped Sheng to suppress the news, Lan Qing had been calling her every day to interrogate her about her relationship with the Gu family. He helped a few times in a row. Even his Yuteng group was specially taken care of by Huanyu group. Although it brought him a lot of convenience, as a siscon, Lan Qing was very worried. What kind of place was the Gu family? How could his sister provoke them? I'm at Yihong house. Come over quickly. Lan Qing said and hung up the phone. It was obvious that he would not let Sheng go if he did not get an answer today. Sheng had a headache. He turned the car around and sent a message to Gucci. She did not contact Gucci much in the past 2 months. She only sent him messages occasionally. Since the strange feeling that day, she was 100% sure that he was Feng Ci. In fact, she wished she could harass Gucci every day. However, she did not have much time for filming and it was very tiring. Today was the end of filming. However, Gucci called her and said he wanted to take her out for dinner. As soon as Sheng sent the message, Gucci's call came. Where are we eating? Gucci's voice was low, probably because of the phone call. Yihong house. Yes. After that, there was no response from the other side of the phone. Gucci did not hang up the phone either. Sheng occasionally heard a rustling sound from the other side of the phone. Sheng listened for a long time before he suddenly asked, "Are you coming?" "Yes." Gucci placed the phone beside his ear. "I want to see you." Sheng. The girl's heart was about to explode. "Then I'll wait for you outside." Sheng took a deep breath. "I'll hang up first. Drive carefully." All right. She was closer to Yihong house than Gucci, but she was stuck in a traffic jam. She said she would wait for him, but in the end, it became Gucci waiting for her. Sheng looked at Gucci, who was still wearing thin clothes, standing alone outside Yihong house. He suddenly felt sorry for him. The weather was only 5 or 6 degrees Celsius, and he was still standing outside wearing so little. Sheng parked the car and rushed over. "There's a traffic jam. Did you wait long? Why don't you go in and wait?" Gucci reached out to help her tighten her scarf and said slowly, "It's okay." Sheng could even feel the coldness on his hand. It's so cold, yet he's okay. Sheng held his hand and put it in her pocket. "Let's go, it's freezing outside." Gucci didn't care if this posture was weird or not. He let her put his hand in her pocket naturally. His fingers that were stiff from the cold slowly warmed up. They were stained with her body temperature and her scent. As soon as they entered Yihong house, the heater was full and it warmed up instantly. However, Sheng didn't let go of Gucci. Lan Qing booked a room on the 3rd floor. While waiting for the elevator, Sheng tilted his head and glanced at Gucci. "Why are you wearing so little? Wear more next time." He didn't like to wear too much, but since she said it was too little, he would wear more. Ding! The elevator door opened slowly. A group of men in suits stood in the elevator and came face to face with Sheng. The leading man wore a dark blue suit, which was obviously different from the group of men in black suits behind him. He was tall and slender, with one hand in his pocket. His expression was aloof and cold, and his eyes were deep. He seemed to be surrounded by a cold aura, which made people stay away. Su Mu Yuan, proud son, should be wrapping up soon. The male lead, Su Mu Yuan, is here. Gucci only glanced at the people inside without any emotions. The two of them blocked the elevator door and didn't intend to move aside. Su Mu Yuan frowned, and the people beside him reminded him immediately. "Sir, miss, please move aside." The man who looked like Su Mu Yuan's assistant frowned and said. They were standing too close to each other, and the two of them were blocking the elevator door. Although there was space at the side, it was impossible to let the CEO go out in such an ugly posture. Shisheng forgot about it when he saw the male lead. Gucci. Probably it was always others who made way for him, but he never made way for others. So after the assistant finished speaking, he brought Shisheng directly into the elevator. He reached out his hand to press the button to close the door, and then press 3. You. The assistant's face changed slightly. Su Muyuan reached out his hand to stop the assistant. Shisheng looked at Su Muyuan thoughtfully. He should have just returned to China, right? The elevator reached the 3rd floor quickly. After Gucci and Shisheng went down, the assistant said, Mr. Su, that person was so rude just now. Why did you stop me? The elevator door closed slowly, isolating the 2 figures outside. Su Muyuan pulled the corner of his mouth, showing a cold smile on his face. He is Gucci? Which Gucci? Mr. Su. Are you talking about the young master from Huanyu Corporation? The assistant reacted and asked in surprise. Su Muyuan didn't comment. I heard that Gucci is ignorant and incompetent. He hangs out with street gangsters all day long. The assistant began to spread Gucci's information. If it wasn't for Huanyu Corporation, Gucci would have died many times. He's so arrogant. Does he really think that the Gu family can cover the sky with one hand? Su Muyuan glanced at the assistant. The assistant was frightened by Su Muyuan's gaze and didn't dare to continue. Fortunately, the elevator arrived at this time. Su Muyuan took the lead to go out. Before the assistant could breathe a sigh of relief, he heard a scream outside. The assistant hurriedly walked out of the elevator. There was nothing strange, just a woman standing in front of the CEO. She looked decent but a little immature. Sorry. Wen Xiao nodded slightly at Su Muyuan. She straightened her back and bypassed him to enter the elevator before Su Muyuan could say anything. Su Muyuan acted as if nothing happened and left the hall. The assistant touched his head inexplicably. What happened just now? Wen Xiao entered the elevator. Her straight back was slightly bent. Her face was a little pale, as if she had gone through a big battle. She was reborn, so she naturally knew Su Muyuan. He would be the entertainment tycoon in the future. She didn't expect to meet him here, and she even bumped into him. If she hadn't practiced her acting skills for the past few months, she probably wouldn't have dared to raise her head in front of him. Chapter 495. Lan Qing was dumbfounded when he saw his baby sister walking in with a man. Who is this man? Who is he? When did he hook up with my baby sister? Lan Qing came back to his senses and rushed forward to pull them apart, shielding Shisheng behind him. He smiled politely and extended his hand to Gucci. Hello, I'm Lan Qing, Lan Sheng's brother. Gucci tilted his head and looked at Shisheng in confusion. After a few seconds, he retracted his gaze and held Lan Qing's hand slowly. Gucci? Lan Sheng's boyfriend. Shisheng continued from behind. Gucci's eyelashes fluttered. Yes. Lan Qing turned around and stared at Shisheng. She actually has a boyfriend behind my back? I can't live like this anymore. I took so much effort to raise my sister, but she ran into another man's arms when I'm not paying attention. Just thinking about it makes me unhappy. Lan Qing looked at Gucci with an unfriendly gaze. He let go of his hand and pulled Shisheng and Gucci apart. Shisheng looked innocent. This is my Feng Xi. I can't wait to bring him home and worship him. Lan Qing took a deep breath, but before he could exhale, he suddenly paused. What did this man say his name was? Gucci. Gu. Gucci from Huanyu Corporation? Lan Qing stared at Gucci and asked word by word. Gucci nodded slowly. The earrings on his ears flickered with his movements. Lan Qing's expression changed. He dragged Shisheng out. Excuse me, Mr. Gu. I have something to say to Shisheng. Gucci pursed his lips and looked at Shisheng being dragged out by Lan Qing. He blinked a few times, confused. Brother, what are you doing? Lan Qing dragged Shisheng forward. Shisheng had no choice but to speak. Lan Qing stopped when they reached an empty corner. He pressed her shoulders with both hands and pushed her against the wall. Shisheng only realized how bad Lan Qing's expression was from the front. Lan Qing gave her the impression that he was a nice brother. She had never seen him like this. Lan Qing took a deep breath slowly. Baby, he's Gucci. I know. Gucci. Lan Qing gritted his teeth. The most precious young master in the Gu family. Baby, we can't afford to touch him. But I like him. He was Feng Xiai. No matter how precious he was, she would only make him more precious. Do you really like him? Lan Qing frowned. Shisheng nodded. He liked it very much. The Gu family is too complicated, baby you. What's the consequence of falling in love with Gucci? She would be subjected to a full investigation by the Gu family. From her birth until now, everything would be investigated thoroughly. There would be no secrets to speak of. This was a very frightening thing. It was as if she had been stripped naked and presented naked in front of the Gu family. Baby, can't we change to someone else? If it was someone else from the Gu family, he could still accept it. Gucci really couldn't do it. Bro, do you think you're buying cabbage? If she didn't like it, she could always change it. Lan Qing couldn't help but raise his voice. How long have you known him? Are you sure you like him? Baby, you have to think clearly. After that, Lan Qing's face revealed a trace of guilt. He apologized gently. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to yell at you. I just want you to think clearly. I've thought clearly, brother. What I want and what I don't want, I've always known. Shisheng held Lan Qing's hand with a serious look. Brother, I want Gucci, I want him. I won't regret it. Lan Qing stared at her quietly. His eyes were a little red. His hand that was holding her shoulder exerted force secretly. Shisheng held back and didn't say anything. This man really cared about his sister, Lan Sheng. When Lan Sheng wanted to marry the man who could be her father in order to save Yuteng Group, it was the first time Lan Sheng saw Lan Qing so angry. However, Lan Sheng still did it behind Lan Qing's back. During that time, Lan Qing hoped that Lan Sheng would change her mind. He was even willing to exchange the whole group for her. However, Lan Sheng's wish was for him to be well. She didn't have love, but she couldn't lose her family. Lan Qing sighed and pulled Shisheng into his arms. I won't let you suffer. Let's go, don't let them wait for too long. Thank you, brother. Lan Qing rubbed Shisheng's head. His eyes were full of love. He hugged her shoulder and walked back. When they returned to the private room, Gucci was still standing there. Brother, have a seat. Shisheng pulled the chair for Lan Qing. Lan Qing didn't stand on ceremony and sat down directly. Gucci took the lead and pulled the chair for Shisheng. He waited for her to sit down before he sat down. Lan Qing glanced at him. Gucci nodded slightly and passed the tablet to Shisheng. Shisheng casually made a few orders and passed it to Lan Qing. Mr. Gu, you're not ordering? Lan Qing held the tablet in his hand after ordering. He didn't intend to pass it to Gucci. I'll follow her. Lan Qing secretly gave him the middle finger. You're so good at pleasing my baby sister. Scheming. No, I have to check carefully, in case my baby gets cheated. During the meal, Lan Qing occasionally chatted with Gucci. Their attitude wasn't close, but it wasn't distant either. He didn't deliberately ask about anything, but he didn't leave out any questions. No wonder he's on the negotiation table. After the meal, Lan Qing had a rough understanding of Gucci. He didn't care if he was suitable for his baby sister. With his identity, he cared a lot about it. He originally wanted to force his baby sister to have an affair with someone in the Gu family, but he didn't expect it to be so complicated. His precious little sister had even been abducted. His heart ached when he thought about it. The baby he raised for so many years. If he knew, he wouldn't have come for the meal. He was so angry. When Lan Qing paid the bill, he realized it was settled. He was even more depressed. Fine. I can't even spend money on my baby now. Baby, I'll give you a ride. Lan Qing felt that he needed to make his presence known in front of his baby sister, so that he wouldn't fall out of favor. I drove. Shisheng pointed at his car. It's okay, I'll get someone to drive it back for you. Take my car. Lan Qing pushed Shisheng into his car. Mr. Gu, please go back by yourself. Brother. Shisheng leaned on the window. He wanted to say that Gucci lived in the same apartment as him, but Lan Qing stared at him with a gloomy face. That stare seemed to say that if Shisheng dared to ask Gucci to get in the car, he would immediately stop her from interacting with Gucci. Shisheng kept silent. Call me when you reach home. Gucci spoke first. Mr. Lan, be careful on the road. Lan Qing rarely showed a serious face. He nodded reservedly at Gu Qi, but he was complaining in his heart. Does he need me to remind him? His baby sister is sitting in the car. How can he be careless? Shisheng's face suddenly turned gloomy. Gu Qi looked at her and felt slightly relieved. Lan Qing slammed the car door shut and drove away. On the way, he nagged Shisheng for a long time, saying that this was not allowed, that was not allowed. Shisheng didn't plan to tell Lan Qing that Gu Qi lived downstairs. If she said that, Lan Qing would immediately pack up and bring her home. Chapter 496. Before Shisheng could say a word to Gu Qi, Qin Yuan's consecutive calls arrived. Shisheng, you're on the headlines every day. Have you ever considered my feelings? Qin Yuan didn't roar, but her voice sounded weak. Shisheng was confused. What's wrong? Isn't it good to be on the headlines every day? Other celebrities would risk their lives just to be on the headlines. Wait, I didn't do anything recently. Why am I on the headlines again? Haven't you checked Weibo? Qin Yuan asked when she didn't hear Shisheng's reply. Shisheng turned on his computer and logged into Weibo. Shisheng took a quick glance. It's another scandal. It's about her and Lan Qing again. It was probably taken when she was talking to Lan Qing in the corner. However, the angle of the photo was weird. From the angle of the photo, they seemed to be kissing. Sister Qin. Done? Qin Yuan was very noisy. Tell me what's going on? She was almost immune to this kind of thing now. That's my brother. He was talking to me about the angle of the photo. Okay, I got it. Where did you guys eat? Yihong House. Qin Yuan hung up the phone and let the public relations department handle it. Shisheng curiously looked at the person who posted the Weibo. It was a reporter who was quite famous. However, no matter what kind of reporters they were, they would not be able to enter a place like Yihong House. So it was highly possible that the photo wasn't taken by him. Then who was it? Lan Qing immediately released a statement, asking the reporter to delete the Weibo post and apologize to Shisheng. Qin Yuan was also very fast. Almost immediately after Lan Qing released the statement, she posted the surveillance photos of the two of them walking out of Yihong House. Fortunately, Lan Qing purposely separated Gu Qi, so Gu Qi didn't appear on the screen. The anti-fans didn't have time to organize an army, and the incident came to an end just like that. However, Lan Qing gained a lot of fans. Lan Qing also won the title of China's best brother. Proud Son officially ended filming. Shisheng was invited to attend the banquet. The male and female protagonists were going to meet at the banquet. Shisheng excitedly went to watch the adultery. Sister Lan, thank you for taking care of me before. Wen Xiao came over with a glass of wine to toast Shisheng. He emphasized the word, take care a little. Shisheng raised his glass and said, You're welcome. It's because I didn't take care of you. Wen Xiao froze for a moment. How am I supposed to answer this? Fortunately, someone came to propose a toast to Shisheng, saving Wen Xiao from the awkward situation. After that, all kinds of people toasted each other and flattered each other. In the end, everyone was a little drunk. Similar to the plot, Wen Xiao was forced to drink a lot and was carried away in a daze. The director and others saw it, but no one stepped forward to say anything. Shisheng left first. Her cheeks were a little hot. She fanned herself with her hand, and then Shisheng walked towards the elevator. Ding! The elevator door opened. As soon as Shisheng stepped in, a voice suddenly sounded behind him. Miss Lan, wait a moment. Shisheng turned his head and saw the assistant beside Su Mu Yuan. She retracted her foot and saw the assistant trotting over. Hello, Miss Lan. President Su wants to see you. The assistant's attitude was much better than last time, but his eyes were looking at her impolitely. See me? What does the male lead want to do? Shouldn't the male lead be making babies with the female lead at this time? It won't take too much of your time. Shisheng rolled his eyes and nodded slightly. The assistant immediately led the way and brought Shisheng to a private room. The private room was big, and there were many people inside. When Shisheng went in, the whole room became quiet. Su Mu Yuan wasn't in the room. The assistant led Sheng to a compartment in the private room. After Sheng went in, the people in the private room started to talk. The compartment wasn't small. Su Muyuan sat on the leather sofa. His suit was thrown aside, and his shirt was unbuttoned casually. "Miss Lan, please have a seat." Sheng didn't stand on ceremony and sat directly opposite him. One who is unaccountably solicitous is hiding evil intentions. If you have something to say, just say it. Su Muyuan pulled the corner of his mouth and smiled fleetingly. "Miss Lan is really an interesting person." Sheng looked at him coldly. "Miss Lan, are you interested in doing business with me?" The assistant beside him immediately handed a document to Sheng. Sheng took it for a while. After reading the document, Sheng finally understood why Su Muyuan could do it in such a short period of time. He defeated Yuteng Group and got it in his pocket. He actually bought so many shares of Yuteng Group quietly. Except for the female lead, the male lead was ruthless to everyone else. "What do you want me to do?" Sheng closed the document calmly. These shares were in Su Muyuan's hands. He definitely wouldn't give them away. Now that he took this out, it proved that he had bigger ambitions. For example, Proud Sun had finished filming and the promotion officially started. As the second female lead, Sheng naturally had to attend. As the female lead, Wen Qiao was naturally there too. At the banquet that day, Su Muyuan left with her, so he definitely didn't have sex with the female lead. According to the female lead rule, she definitely didn't sleep with anyone. During the promotion, Wen Qiao's attention was far less than Sheng's. As the female lead, Wen Qiao's stills were released long ago. However, none of Sheng's stills were released. The officials were deliberately creating doubts. "Miss Lan, what role did you play in Proud Sun?" A reporter patiently asked the same question that all the other reporters had asked but didn't get an answer. There were only a few people in the promotional photos of Proud Sun. Not all of them were released. So until now, nobody knew who played the roles except the crew. Sheng took over the reporter's microphone. The crowd suddenly quieted down. "Does this mean that she's going to answer? Since you're so enthusiastic, I'll tell you." Just as Sheng spoke, her stills were released from the screen behind her. The handsome girl was wearing a black leather jacket, holding a steel pipe in her hand. Her head was slightly tilted. The sun shone through her back, and the black and white images strangely came alive. The angle of the shot was from below. The girl's valiant image, her domineering aura. The fans and reporters at the scene were all excited. The movie queen who had always played gentle roles was actually playing a rebellious girl. Moreover, it was a character that wasn't very likable. The promotion was unexpectedly good. Every time they went to a place, the officials would release a screenshot of Sheng's plot. Just those handsome stills were enough to attract Sheng's fans. There were also some fans who couldn't get used to it. However, they were still willing to accept such a handsome character. Sheng also had a new nickname because of this. Prince Charming. A bunch of soft and cute girls, under Sheng's Weibo, called him, "I want to give birth to monkeys with you every day." Sheng imagined the scene, and was suddenly overjoyed. Chapter 497. The promotion of Proud Sun was in full swing. Sheng did not participate in the promotion after her character was exposed, so all she did was play games with Guqi every day. "Goddess, goddess, come here quickly." Lin Zainan screamed in the living room. Guqi raised his head slowly and looked at her. Sheng heard the cracking sound again. Her eyebrows twitched. Sheng put down his phone and patted his head. Guqi blinked, lowered his head and continued to play games. Sheng went out. Lin Zainan was holding a tablet. Seeing Sheng coming out, he shouted excitedly, "Goddess, someone is defaming you." Sheng was speechless. She took the tablet and glanced at it. She saw that the long post was made to hype up her popularity, but some words were ambiguous. "There are many defaming me. Don't panic, let them do it." Sheng returned the tablet to him. The original owner used to be gentle. Although she was not a slick person, she would not offend too many people. Ever since Sheng came over, she had inadvertently offended people by the dozen. "Goddess, you are so nice." If I was defamed like this, I would have torn them apart. Lin Zainan looked at her with admiration. Nice. Is there something wrong with this kid's brain? Is there something wrong with Guqi's health? Shisheng changed the topic. Lin Zainan glanced at the bedroom. Shisheng closed the door when he came out. Boss's health is not good. His schedule is messy. When I'm not around, sometimes he stays up all night, sometimes he sleeps. Lin Zainan's voice stopped abruptly. Guqi stood quietly at the door. Lin Zainan felt a sense of oppression. Boss, I'll send you back. This sentence was said to Shisheng. Shisheng hesitated, got up slowly and went out with Guqi. Guqi came down quickly. Lin Zainan sat on the sofa with a face full of fear. Don't tell her. Guqi looked at Lin Zainan. Don't say a word. Boss, I don't want her to worry, Guqi continued. The corner of Lin Zainan's mouth twitched. Your body's daily routine is just a mess. It's not a terminal illness. Why do you make it sound like you're going to die? However, since Guqi had spoken, Lin Zainan dared not say a word. This was the first time he saw his boss pampering someone so much. Guqi walked towards the bedroom. When he reached the door, he paused. Yi Jingyi, you handle it yourself, don't make me do it. I don't want Fang Xian to disturb her. The door slowly closed. Lin Zainan sighed. Last time, regarding the goddess racing incident, the boss never asked about it. The subordinates also turned a deaf ear to it, thinking that he would not pursue the matter. However, Lin Zainan knew that he was waiting for them to make their own decisions. Guqi reminded him now, because he was giving him an ultimatum for his sake. But Fang Xian, this person was a little troublesome to deal with. It was easy to use the Gu family's resources, but he didn't know to what extent boss was going to go. Shisheng was a little worried about Guqi's health. She called Lin Zainan when she went back. Lin Zainan didn't dare to say anything, so he told her to ask the boss herself. The more Shisheng thought about it, the more she felt something was wrong. That night, she packed her things and moved into Guqi's house. Anyway, he was her man. Sleeping with her man was a matter of course. Guqi watched as Shisheng moved his things into his room one by one. Why are all your clothes like this? Most of the clothes in Guqi's wardrobe were black with some weird patterns. You don't like it? Guqi frowned and asked her. Not really, you look good in anything. Black clothes suited Guqi very well. It was decadent and beautiful. He looked good in any way. Shisheng moved his clothes to make a small space for her own clothes. Because they were close to each other, she only took 2 sets of casual clothes. If she took all of them, Guqi's wardrobe wouldn't be enough for her. When she was done, it was almost 9 o'clock. Lin Zainan came to deliver food. Seeing Shisheng's attitude, he could only smile ambiguously at her before running off like a wisp of smoke. Guqi was picky. Lin Zainan bought things according to his preferences, but he could still pick out things that he didn't want to eat. Fengxi's pickiness was really bad. After dinner, Guqi kept his things. Shisheng had already taken a shower. She was in her pajamas and browsing the web with her laptop. Guqi glanced at her for a while, and took his things into the bathroom. The bathroom mirror was foggy, but he could vaguely see the figure in the mirror. Guqi slowly reached out his hand to cover his heart. The steady and powerful heartbeat sounded clearly in his ears at this moment. It's great to not be alone in such a big house. Guqi took his time to finish his shower. Shisheng had already changed her position, and was lying on the bed. Her fingertips were swiping the screen occasionally. It was full of publicity for Proud Son. The publicity photos of her went viral. Shisheng raised her head slightly when she heard Guqi opening the door. Guqi met Shisheng's gaze. His body stiffened and he walked towards Shisheng after a few seconds. Shisheng got up from the bed and put her laptop aside. Shisheng asked him, "Where's your hairdryer?" Guqi washed his hair. It was still wet. It'll dry in a while. Guqi answered. Shisheng guessed that he didn't have one. She wrapped herself in a coat and was about to go out with her keys. Guqi pulled her and asked anxiously, "Where are you going?" "I'll go upstairs to get you the hairdryer. You'll catch a cold easily." Shisheng frowned. "It'll be down soon." Guqi hesitated for a few seconds and let go of his hand slowly. Sheng went upstairs to get her hairdryer and helped Guqi dry his hair. Did you always dry your hair like this? I'm used to it. When he was alone, it didn't matter what he did. You have a lot of bad habits. Sheng muttered. She unplugged the power and kept it in the cupboard at the side. She lifted the blanket and got on the bed. Guqi sat by the bed and looked at her. Aren't you sleeping? Sheng wanted to seduce Guqi, but she was worried about his health. She gave up after thinking about it. Guqi got up and said slowly, I'll go to the guest room. I'm not going to eat you up. Even if I do, I'll be the one at a disadvantage. A man was actually being unreasonable with her. Guqi's ears started to burn again. He stood for about a minute before climbing onto the bed. Sheng turned off the light and shrunk into his arms. She didn't do anything overboard. Guqi hugged her clumsily. He was afraid that she couldn't sleep well, so he didn't dare to move. There was a burning sensation in his body, but he quickly suppressed it. Guqi couldn't fall asleep for a long time. He looked at the person in his arms who seemed to have fallen asleep. He slowly rubbed against her and pulled the blanket to cover her back. He touched the phone on the bedside. The light from the screen reflected his face. As he was afraid of disturbing Sheng, he turned off all the volume of the phone and clicked on the game. It was difficult to operate with one hand, so Guqi gave up after playing for a while. He pressed the power off button in boredom. The screen flickered. Sheng was indeed asleep before, but she was woken up by the light from Guqi's press. She raised her head in a daze. Guqi was staring at the ceiling with his eyes fixed on the ceiling. It was a little scary at first glance. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.